And we are live. Hey, Concrete.
Hey, Danny girl, what's good with you?
Girl, nothing much. I'm okay. My baby just
Mm.
left, so I'm like, rat.
Oh, I thought he was still there with you.
No, child, he had to go back and start real life, honey. I done kept him locked
Mm.
up in this love den all weekend, honey.
He'll probably be listening while he's riding then.
Yes. Hey, honey. I see he's in already in the chat. Hey, babe.
Hey, bro, Curlin.
Hey,
Um,
everybody. What's going on? Hey, say
Definitely,
yourself, black
hey
woman.
to everybody in the chat. Hey, peeps. What else has been going on though this week?
Girl, you already know what I did this weekend. How about you?
Um, Busy as always. But I like it
Oh,
like
my
that.
little Jamaican friend. Y'all, Concrete worked 15 jobs, baby.
Whatever. I like
She
to
got
keep
15
busy.
jobs. How they say
No,
it?
like I don't like idle time. I'm literally like if I'm laying here, I'm like, okay, what I gotta do next? I have so many lists in my phone that I'm like, let me look at one of these lists and see what I can check off of it. That's just how I operate. And I'm just now realizing that. But yes, it's been busy, but still a pleasant weekend nonetheless.
Okay, that's excellent. 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 I would say that I had a very pleasant weekend as well. But I'm not gonna say it was all the way pleasant, but
Oh.
it was mostly pleasant.
Okay.
These YouTube females, honey.
Uh-oh. Uh uh uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yes, honey.
Not the YouTube females.
These YouTube females, honey. YouTube
Mm-mm.
females, honey. Y'all,
They affected your weekend, impacted your weekend
girl,
somehow?
they couldn't affect my weekend, honey. They can
Okay.
affect my YouTube life because I live two separate lives, honey. They piss
I
me off.
feel you.
They piss me off in the YouTube world, but you know what I've noticed?
Mm-hmm.
Um, People like to see women go off. And so uh if people can get an opportunity to make you reactionary to their shit,
Mm.
they
Mm-hmm.
will. And so you have to be very, very careful about being reactionary. And I'm going to give y'all an example.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this pertains to the topic. So, we'll kind of just segue into the topic and let's roll. But
All
anywho,
right.
Saturday night, I chose to do. Oh no, we lost Concrete. Shout out to Full Circle for the super chat. He says, shout out to Sister George and C Rose. Thank you so much, Full Circle. I appreciate the super chat. Um, I'm really curious as to what y'all got going on in the chat. Why are y'all? Never mind. Oh, they said something about avoid
Uh,
sex before marriage, child. I
uh,
absolutely agree.
My bad, child. My fat fingers. I be hitting the cam, hitting leave, all type of stuff when I don't mean to. But my apologies. Where were you?
Okay, I'm gonna just get on right into it. So, Saturday, I was invited to do a panel discussion, and it was on Brother Art New Style TV's channel. It was a panel discussion talking about, I think, the communication between Black men and Black women. It was it was a panel discussion for women, and it was about 6 of us, including Art. Very nice panel discussion. Now everybody didn't agree with everybody's talking points, but it was a nice discussion. Nobody had attitudes. It wasn't any bitchiness. It wasn't any shade thrown.
Arts panels are always like super dope because they're so structured and organized, unlike how we do it over here. But I
Yes,
enjoy
honey.
arts panels.
Right. Me too. Well, we had one woman come over. Now she's very familiar with the space. I'm not really sure if I'm going to bring her name up into it just yet, but I probably will because I think what she did was some bullshit. Um, we had this nice discussion. She didn't agree with everything that we talked about, but then she went back to her. I'm sorry. No, that's me. Um, she didn't agree with everything we were talking about. We had our disagreements on the panel, but it wasn't anything that anybody said that was just, oh my God, I got to take this back to my channel. And when she took it back to her channel, oh, Art, I don't know how you deal with these women. Oh, the answers they gave were just, oh my gosh, I just don't know how you deal with it, Art. And I just don't do that. And I'm just not like that. And it's like,
and let me say now, I wasn't present for Art's panel. I didn't catch it. So, I am being given the specific details of it as everyone else is. So, just so you guys know, and I didn't catch the other stream that is being referred to as well, but just so y'all know, I'm getting the play-by-play along with you all. I didn't get the specifics, so, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Danny.
Okay. But yeah, I just don't, I would never, and I could never do like this and like that. And it was like, okay, but now you've taken a very nice discussion with cool women. Like I said, it was no shade, it was no bitchiness, it wasn't anything crazy. And you take it back to your platform and you put such a bullshit spin on it. And it's like, now, sis, one of the arguments that was brought up was about paying for dates and paying for first dates in particular. And so I think most women was like, most women wouldn't pay for first dates. I don't feel like most women should. Now, if she decides she wants to pay for however many dates that she wants to, fine, baby, pay for all the dates you want to. If that helps you get a man, baby, do what you got to do. Now, if I ain't had to pay for a first date and I got my man, then that worked for me. But what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. But she got up there full of shit. Then, girl, her friend came on, honey. Now, and I'm gonna mention their names. I'm talking about Nicole Ali and Kendra D. So Kendra D and I have had our disagreements and whatever's. I don't fuck with her. She don't fuck with me. That's cool. We don't have to go back and forth. We don't have to do anything. Now, Kendra had went off and like had a huge meltdown, like a crazy woman's meltdown, a very non-feminine meltdown. And I didn't go off on Kendra. I responded to it, but I responded to her in a classy way. I didn't have to go off on her, but what she did was some hoe shit. So I get up on the panel. I didn't say anything to her. She didn't say anything to me. I waited on the panel for her to say something to me, because if she had something to say, we could have addressed it. Girl, when I got off the panel, about 15 minutes later, me and Curlin didn't even listen to the stream like the night before, but we ended up going back. So when I go back and we listening to it, I hear Kendra say, you see, she got her ass off this panel when I came up here. And I was in such a shock, Concrete, because I was like, I know fucking well she's not talking about me. I know she's not talking about me. I know she's talking about me. Honey. Curlin had to pull me off the ledge because I went from show to show looking for Kendra that night. And I was about to wear Kendra's ass out, but Curlin pulled me off the ledge. She said, no, you ain't got to handle her like that. She already going through enough. And so, Kendra, I'm going to handle you with very much class and dignity, sister. I would never, ever, 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 ever in your wildest fucking dreams ever run from you. If ever you wanted the smoke, sis, you send me an email. I am dgeorge1126@gmail.com. We can arrange it. We can meet up in a city and have it out, sister. I will never, ever, ever run from any broad on. I just don't see it. And I thought it was so crazy that you would actually fix your mouth to say something so stupid and so silly. And it was just ridiculous to me. And then when you talk about toxic femininity, Kendra, you always sit around and talk about how women don't like you and how women don't gravitate to you. You have great content, or some of your content is great. I really do. And I'm not a hater, so I can give you props on that. But your problem is you're a bitch. And when I say about a bitch, you don't know me from a can of paint. When the way I've seen you treat females and talk shit to females, and you don't know these females, a woman could be up on a panel and you'll sit up on somebody's panel and dog these women out. You don't know these women from a can of paint. And I've literally seen you in people's chat rooms starting shit with people that's not even bothering you. But then now when they clap back at your ass, all of a sudden you want to be the victim. And you guys claim Nicole Ali, you and her, y'all claim y'all are so feminine, but that was some of the most classless shit I had ever seen, because I'm like, okay, they already say black women don't get along. We're bitchy, we're catty, we're this, that, and the third. The one fucking opportunity that we had to really sit there and it was a good conversation, you ruined that. You ruined that because you want some type of notoriety. Y'all can be the queen of the throne, baby. Y'all can be the queen of the manosphere. It's y'all's.
Well,
what y'all want.
let me say,
God.
so okay, just so you can take a little break.
Yeah, child, I done got hot.
I know, the title the title of the stream is Toxic Femininity, and just as there is toxic masculinity, or a term that's been coined, toxic masculinity, quote unquote, there is a such thing as toxic femininity. So, some examples of, things that might be considered toxic femininity would be, for example, when a woman assaults a man and expects him not to hit her back. That's an example of toxic femininity. Other examples would be women that body shame other women showing basically jealousy towards other women, or attacking the femininity of another woman in order to elevate their quote unquote femininity. Women who are challenging another woman's femininity. Also, like a gold digger may be an example of toxic femininity, or women who are just so focused on their outer appearance that they don't work on like their own character and their own internal things that should also be worked on. So toxic femininity is a thing, and after all the examples I just gave, I'm sure that you all can think of a ton of different situations where you've seen it play out yourselves. But one thing that I've noticed in this space is that a lot of times, hold on one second. My apologies. So a lot of times the women like to attack the femininity of the other women in this space. And
absolutely,
they seem to do it in a way in which to elevate their own femininity. So,
and that's exactly what she was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the women on the panel represented themselves well as ladies. Now, we may not agree on everything, but there was a nice representation of Black women on that panel. Like I said, we didn't agree. Everybody didn't agree on everything, but
right.
Never will I go back to my own platform and try to put myself in such a light. Like it was amazing to me, because it was like, I'm a scientist, and and I've been real clear about my mom, and so she was my mom wasn't a hot girl. My mom was in the books, and my mom never did anything. And
well, let me just say this, because like when I say attacking another woman's femininity, I think that especially as Black women, we see so many examples of Black women throwing shade to another woman, or being shady, or Black women talk about femininity and in this space, and they pedestalize certain people because they feel like they're shining examples of what femininity should be. However, if you are truly feminine, there is no need for you to have to put down another woman's femininity, or point out how much you are much more feminine than she is because of X, Y, and Z, because your femininity should speak for itself. You don't have to highlight that by downplaying someone else's femininity. And those are like key examples of what I see, in this space that, I can refer to as toxic femininity.
You know what's crazy? Now, I haven't
Mhm.
Wait, shout out to Jessica X for the super sticker. Thank you, Jessica X. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I've never had a dust up or anything with any other chicks um from the space or whatever. You know, it's been a little stuff here and there, but the so-called strags and thoughts and whatever have had more class than the women that say they're supposed to
Mhm.
have class. And if you're supposed to be the standard, where's your grace? Where's your humility? And if you don't feel like that's owed to me, then be a savage and play with one.
Well, it's funny that you say that because you hear another common term that I hear in this space is hyena. I don't know how you deem someone a hyena. A hyena is someone that I would consider like a savage, someone, basically that will eat off of a dead carcass. And if someone, I want to know what type of behavior you can be shown online for someone to deem you a hyena, or is that just another example of you downplaying someone else's femininity in order to highlight your own?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Shout out to Bayou for this Cash App. Thank you so much, Bayou. Um, yeah, but I just never understood why I would have to diminish another woman to pedestalize myself because and what's crazy is, she set up on a channel with 9 other people, and you guys really don't have anything else better to talk about. Like y'all really like, wow, grow up. And you're
Let
supposed,
me just
she's
say
supposed to
this.
be this mature woman. She's supposed to be this woman of class and regalness. And
Yeah.
then when you really get the looking at the shit, there's not any regalness there. That's not classy. Where's your class at, lady? That's not classy at
Well,
all.
I'm gonna say this. I think that there's you're not gonna find a woman whose stuff don't stink too. Like in addition, like black women, as much flack as we get, like I don't encourage black women to shrink in the presence of men. However, it is extremely difficult to walk in your femininity 110% of the time. I don't know of a woman that I've seen in this space that has exuded femininity 100% of the time. To me, it's not. I don't consider it masculine for you to be reactionary, meaning if someone attacks you, for you to, bark back and, tell somebody to back up off you in whatever way you deem fit. I think that there is a such thing as you taking it too far. But I don't think that, it's hard for any westernized woman to be in their femininity 100% of the time unless they have a culture or a community that promotes that and that allows them to be. But if you're on YouTube, it's unlikely that you are, unless you like strictly are just, especially if you're in the manosphere, it's unlikely that you are 110% feminine all the time, every day. Like that's just impossible. So to challenge one woman's femininity over your own, like, yours can be challenged too.
You
But
are
it's just,
absolutely right.
I've
But
I've actually coined a term for like the women who do that. It's like the feminazi. So like they're literally like femininity police and telling you, your behavior isn't feminine, or you're exuding masculine behavior. You're a hyena. You're this. You're that. You're anything aside from being you being feminine, because that's what's used to shame women in this space. However, the man that I lay next to every night that has no issue with my femininity. I am extremely feminine, and I don't have to prove that by shrinking when somebody challenges me, and being afraid to voice my opinion because it's outside of what the men in this space might feel is ladylike. I would never do that because that's being untrue to me.
shout out to the real Dana. She said she allowed Dusties to disrespect women because you
We know.
disagreed with our opinions or perspectives. Disrespect, I don't tolerate. Dana, shout out to you because it was like we it was a really decent panel. Why would you have to go back to your own platform and dirty it up when we already have problems with women getting along anyway? And so when you can get along with people And when it's a decent discussion, you build on that, or you if you can come to terms about what you disagree on, then come to terms about that. But to go back to your own platform and then to kind of put yourself up on a pedestal like, oh, I don't do this. Oh, I don't do that. Oh, I just couldn't understand how you couldn't. And I'm sitting up there like, you fake ass whore. I don't, you know, and that was my frame of thinking, because I just thought it was so distasteful. And it really, it makes it, women already have a natural distrust toward women anyway, but it puts it further puts a divide with us. And it's a divide that we all need to come together. And we
absolutely.
So, you know, it was trash. It was really trash.
But you know what? When you were just making that voice, it made me think of another thing that I tie into the topic, and that's like pseudo-femininity, or someone pretending that they are more feminine than they are, or not being their true selves because of, you know, any kind of negativity that they may receive by, you know, being true to who they are. So like they put on this air that they are, I'm 100% feminine all the time. I don't swear. I never say a slick thing to a male. When a male is speaking, I make sure that I, close my mouth and listen to everything. That's fake. And, I don't even think that the men in this space would buy that. That's, how any Black woman really and truly is. But the other thing that they do is like, there's kind of like an anti-femininity force that, that I see in this space as well. And they do stuff like shaming women for being feminine by calling them pick-me's and the all types of negative names or derogatory names because they're being feminine. Now, there is a such thing as a pick-me. So I'm not saying that some people don't actually fit into that category. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I mean, for example, myself and Danny have been called pick-me's when we definitely give the fellas pushback. And I don't think any of the men that frequent this space would consider us pick-me's, because they know we ain't gonna hold back if we disagree with your opinion.
Yeah, shout out to Robbie Privilege. She says she didn't need to do all of that. It was a variety of perspectives. We don't have to think alike or have to think together. Absolutely, Robbie. Like I said, I think Nicole is trying to get her views up on her YouTube channel. And honey, we could have just did a collaboration. You ain't have to go over there and talk shit about us. These are ladies who would have collaborated with you if you wanted to try to get your views up and shit. But you didn't have to sit on your platform and talk shit about everybody on the panel like that. And then it was mainly me. She mainly kept mentioning my name. And so it's like, well, chick, I've never said anything unpleasant to you, disrespectful, whatever. I have my own views about things. You have your own views about things. Doesn't make us any more or less better, whatever. You live in California or wherever you live at. I live in Mississippi. I don't bother you. Leave me alone. And if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to talk shit every time I see you. Anywho.
See, Ali, I wouldn't even encourage all women to be like Melody. Like, who wants a world of that's that Stepford type of stuff. I don't think all women should be like me. Like, be who you are. Absolutely, I think that it's important for a woman to recognize when they are to recognize that they have a lack of femininity and to work on that within themselves. But I don't think that there's any woman in the entire world that I can think of that would be the model of what every woman should look like. Namely, because your partner and whomever you choose to spend the rest of your life with, like, that may not even work for who you get with.
And somebody said they wanted to impress BGS. I really do think that was part of the problem. Baby, BGS, that's cool too. That's they do. Dana said she was gonna invite her to her platform, but when she mentioned she was a scientist, but F her. Dana, I got a scientist on our team that you can talk to if you need one, and she develops medicine. So if you need one, I got one, and she good at what she do. So, yeah, but that was a mess. But anywho, Are you ready to open up the panel, honey?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on up and give us your thoughts on the topic on toxic femininity or some additional examples, or if you just want to chime in on the situation that Danny is speaking of that happened on Art and Nicole's panel. Come on up and join us and chime in on the topic.
Yeah, honey. But I just expected better. I really expected better, and it's a disappointment because it's like, for what? Why do we have to dirty these things up? Why couldn't it have just been a good discussion and left at that?
Yeah, that's how, I guess I'm
And then
not
another thing
surprised.
is, it's discouraging, and I'm going to tell you what that does to a lot of people. Have problems with getting females to participate on platforms, because
True.
when you go to platforms and then after you do a show, everybody goes and takes everything, and I'm not going to say it's mostly women because they do it with everybody, but women especially. Imagine people just breaking down every freaking talking point you've ever made and holding that against you. And so women aren't going to be reluctant, or women will be reluctant to participate in something like that, because people don't want to be under scrutiny, especially if it wasn't anything that should have been under scrutiny. Nobody got into it. It's just crazy. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, I agree with you. Hey, everybody.
Hi, ladies.
What's up, Dana?
I had to come on and put my 2 cents because I saw your title over 2 hours ago. I was talking about toxic femininity. And I'm like, okay, is she going to talk about this chick? Because I mentioned her Friday, and it was like, I wasn't going to do it, but it really kind of got under my skin, just for the simple fact that, because one thing, I don't like arguing back and forth, especially with females. But the fact that in the beginning of her show, she let those 2 dusty ass dudes come up there and call us hyenas and straggles and just disrespectful names. And I'm like, for what? She didn't tell them don't do that or nothing. Like, she's entitled to, if she wanted to break down a show or whatever. But you already knew her intentions was to degrade us, the rest of us, mainly you. And I would say definitely me. She didn't say my name. But even when she said your name, and I saw that you hopped on later in the show, because she was up there for damn near 5 hours. And I didn't know if you caught the beginning part of it, because I'm just like, why is Sister George even coming in there if she ain't going to cuss her out? Because
you know what? Because they always expect you. They do shit to get reactions.
Yeah, but I don't think you caught those 2 dudes calling us names in the beginning.
They've always talked. Those 2 dudes have always talked shit about me. Always. Like, every time they think about me, and they sit around on panels for hours and hours talking shit about little old me and my man. I don't know. Right, and that's somebody, and Bishop Red Child. Every time you turn around, hell, they need to be sending us their cash apps. They streams be about us,
right?
Or what? Like, God,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, listening to her, and it's like, oh, I'm not fucking with her, because she is this pick-me-sha. She was way out of pocket, just very petty. And she kind of messed, you know what? She messed up the whole energy of it. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going on nobody's panels, because if you don't know how to conduct yourself afterwards, if you got a problem with Sister George or with anybody up there, why didn't you say it when you were there? So that's just some straight sucker shit. And then she had a whole bunch of other suckers coming up there. And it's like, you know what? I don't got time for this.
It was corny.
Yes.
It was really corny. And it was like, it was a good panel. It was a solid discussion. Like I said, everybody didn't agree on everything, but it was a good panel. But it was good to see a organized conversation. Was no shade toward anybody. It was a really decent discussion. And I'm like, we should be able to have more discussions like that with no issues. But people like that ruin it for everybody. You ruin it for people.
But she ruins it on purpose, though. You have to realize these are people who are protecting their turf. Only certain amount of people can go in there and be the classy ones, can be the smart ones, can be the ones who stand up, and tell women the truth. If everybody else
but
goes
I
there and
agree.
acts that way, they're no longer unique and they're not going to get their attention.
Ooh, Miss J, you coming with the fire, because I agree 110%, and that's what it is about. It's to elevate oneself above everybody else and be like, see, I'm the only one who displays femininity. I'm the only one who, who does X, Y, and Z. So I agree. That's exactly it.
Shout out to Spiritual Logic. He says toxic femininity and fake masculinity are two sides of the same coin, making a cycle of weak men, lost women to fill in the void of the societal structure. Thank you so much, Spiritual Logic. And shout out to my baby daddy. He said those two dudes run our fan club. All facts, because they do. They do. They talk about every time you turn around, they talk about us. So, honey. But the chicks, I just wow.
They don't want black women to improve because then again they won't get the attention. They won't be the standout ones.
Yeah,
That's their entire.
Is it because they don't get any attention? That's why they don't like women. See, men that talk about women like that do not like women. And if you look at their little pictures, they're not attractive. They probably don't have any money, so they can't pretend to be attractive with money. Yeah.
The thing is, though, their behavior is no different than any other woman's behavior in this space. That they should be stand out, or the one example of what a feminine woman is supposed to be. I don't see Kendra doesn't ooze femininity to me. I mean, I understand that she,
but she gets attention by being. No, but saying she gets attention by attacking black women. It ain't about her being feminine. That's not what she's known for.
Right.
But the thing is this, though. We all have a different experience that we go through in life. And shout out to everybody that's up here on the chat and everybody that was in the panel that day. I thought that conversation was great because we all got to take a moment and get to know something about one another. I really didn't appreciate that when I tuned into her chat and she was like, and then I couldn't even talk to the women on the chat. We were on that panel for 2.5 hours. You could have said whatever you needed to say.
right.
Like you could have reached out, and you want women to
They're not
settle.
trying to reach out. She wasn't trying to reach out. She was trying to attack.
I know she was.
Because people were agreeing, but everybody was agreeing. Everybody's having a nice conversation. She doesn't do that. She attacks. And she didn't get an opportunity to do that because you didn't give her an opportunity to do that. And that's why she's mad.
Not any more feminine than anyone else in this space. I see feminine women in the space, but there's no one woman in here that is any more feminine that should be a staple of what a feminine woman is than anybody else. Like, we're westernized women, so you're gonna get some aggressiveness and some assertiveness from any black woman you talking to, including Kendra.
Right. And that's one, Sister George, when you went on her platform that night and I was listening to you and I'm like, she don't gotta fucking explain herself why she want to do to pay for the first date. And them Dusty sitting up there, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to make you feel bad, but just trying to make you admit that the way you move or the way you think is off. I'm like,
The thing about it is now, Kendra just got a divorce, and I put that in quotation marks. So I mean, sis, me and you ain't married. So what's the difference?
Wait, she was on her show that night. Who was Kendra?
Kendra came in. She's the Crimson Cure. She came in toward the end, but it was just like she came in. She was the one who was said that I hopped off the panel when she got up there, and I just couldn't believe. I still can't believe it. I
didn't listen through the whole thing. I didn't even know you was up there until somebody told me, and I went back and I just scrolled to where you were at, 'cause I wasn't sitting through all that BS. Like, those are people that got too much time on their hands. You're not man enough. You're not woman enough. And honestly, it's a shame, because when you talk about Black YouTube, the space for Black YouTubers is so much stuff that we could be doing that's way more productive than sitting on a YouTube channel for 5 hours disrespecting women.
We could be building
they don't want the unity. They don't want the unity. You see how many powerful women is right here, how many powerful women was on that panel. If we all click together and we are exchanging ideas and we are giving back to the community, and shout out to the 10K project. Dana did an interview on her panel with them, and that That's a group of women trying to give back to the community. When do we get to that? Why does it have to be all this cattiness? That's toxic femininity, when you're not trying to build up the people around you.
Ooh, yes, I agree.
Exactly. Shout out to Melody for the super sticker. Thank you so much, Melody.
Thank you, Melody. That's probably the only person that I haven't seen be assertive in this space, but she a Black woman, so you best believe you piss her off, you gonna get some assertiveness from her too.
Yeah, but once you learn how certain people are, you just gotta kind of just brush them aside and move on. You can't mess with people because some folks, you can't talk to them, you can't have a conversation when you can't try to work with them because they're antisocial. They got their own issues, so just leave them alone. That's what I learned, because I used to talk with her, and I learned the hard way that this is just not something to do. Mm-hmm. There is no. She only wants men, basically. Women are there to be attacked to impress the news.
No, and but I've seen her get on her platform and complain like that women don't really come over to her platform like that, and she's thinking that it's really her message. And I'm like, okay, Kendra,
no, that ain't it, because we used to frequent her platform.
That's not it. That's not it at all.
And I said,
like I said, you can't have a conversation with certain people because they don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah. I used to frequent her platform, and I was a mod on her channel. I would, support her platform and everything else. And then I kind of took a hiatus, and I came back, and she would ignore me in the chat and this, that, and the other. And then when some words was exchanged, when the Black Order started trying to attack Danny, she started coming for both of us. So I'm like, okay, so you can't inquire as to why people don't frequent your platform when you have people frequenting your platform and supporting your channel and making sure that they're there every time they receive a notification, and then you attack them because of whatever reason. I mean, come on, it's obvious as to why.
Yeah, she'll invite you on the panel and attack you. Like, what was the point of doing that? That's happened to me, and I was like, you know what, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And just some people sometimes they have a good message, but it can be the messenger and how you say the message.
That's true.
That can really turn people off, and no one wants to listen to it. And that's just, it's unfortunate, but let it go.
Can I chime in, ladies?
Sure thing. Who's that, little big Nate?
With no BS, Nate.
What BS would that be, madam?
Oh no, don't
go ahead, little big Nate. What you got to add to the conversation?
No, I'm gonna hop off after I say what I gotta say.
You know what? That's unfair when y'all do that, though. When you come on and say, I just want to say what I got to say and hop off, because we're having like an ongoing discussion, whatever you have to say may be something that sparks more discussion.
But when you say coming with mess, what mess have I come with? I'm not sure I understand.
It's okay, Nate. Go ahead, dog.
Okay. I mean, just let me speak. And
go ahead, little bit.
Let me get it after Nate.
The very idea that you're attributing something negative to femininity is a huge problem with me. Any man that has ever sat across from a genuinely feminine woman, which means her femininity informs all of her movements, all of them, how she acts, how she talks, how she eats, how she picks things up off the floor. That's what femininity is supposed to do for a woman. I would submit to you, there is no such thing as toxic femininity. There's toxic feminism, maybe. And again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your platform, but there's nothing toxic about genuine femininity. I'm sorry. And I'm also not doing this to try
toxic femininity is a made-up term that's been coined, just like toxic masculinity
Exactly. There's no such thing.
But femininity is a social construct. So how can there not be a toxic feminine? There can, like anything, too much of anything can be toxic. Too much fish. Fish has mercury in it. Too much of anything can become toxic.
Madam.
And if it's misused.
You may want to ask a man whether or not femininity can be toxic.
Why would I ask a man whether or not femininity can be toxic? That makes no sense. If it's misused,
aren't you always telling us that we can't tell you how to be a man?
Little big Nate, hold on one second.
We're having our conversation derailed. We're having this conversation derailed.
I want to say this to Little Big Nate real quick. Little Big Nate, if something is being misused, it can become toxic. So if someone is misused, how do you disagree with them misusing something?
You could disagree, but you don't get to determine the standard of femininity. I'm sorry, sir.
Of course
You don't
I
do
don't.
that.
Of course I don't. And this
Just
is
like I don't get to determine the
this is
standard of masculinity. That's up to you.
This is the kind of pushback you get when you try to educate Black women.
You're not educating me. I don't need you to educate me.
Wait a minute.
Y'all are
You
falling
put
for the
your
trap
understanding,
again.
your
Do you
perspective.
Hold on, one
You're
at a
not
time.
educating one at
You're
a
falling
time.
for the trap. You're falling for the
Hold
trap,
on.
guys. You're falling for
Little
the
bit,
trap.
wait.
But
When
you
you
know
come
what?
in
That
and you
let
act
me
as if you're the authority on the subject, it is going to
ma'am,
be
I
triggering to
never
the
claimed
women,
to be
though.
an authority, madam. I
But the
never
way
You're
in
falling-
which you're
an authority.
speaking,
You're
the way
falling
that
for
you're
the
speaking
trap,
about
guys. You're
Madam,
falling for the trap. Stop falling
Concrete,
for it.
but this is the thing. When Nate comes on the panel, what I noticed that Nate does, especially when he gets into a panel of Black women, Nate tries to say things that's going to make the women very excited, and he wants the women to go off
no, madam.
just so he can
Exactly.
say,
Ain't nobody go
That's
off.
it.
It's just like
That's
letting you
I
know.
told you.
Madam, that's not true.
You do it every time. You do it every time, Nate. And Nate,
Madam.
now I may not be the best at a lot of things, but I'm gonna tell you what I'm great at. I'm great at reading people when they're trying to pick me and make me go off and make me reactionary to something. So you do come to gaslight the people.
No,
Let's
madam.
not front on that.
No,
And shout
Okay.
out to Caesar D1. He says to the men, get off the damn panel. Let the women fight, build, discuss, or talk this out. Men need to be in the clouds on this one. Shaking my head. And
Okay.
shout out to
I do have a question for
Ladies.
you, little big Nate.
Black
Hold on.
women. She said, this is the mess they said don't come with.
Lady.
Little big
Thank you
Nate,
so
I have a
much,
question
Savior
for
Black
you.
women. Shout out to Ty City. He said, why y'all time me out? Why are y'all timing?
Don't time people out for
Because they're
speaking
doing
their mind
foolishness.
unless they're being completely disrespectful.
They're doing
like-
foolishness. That's why they're getting timed
Look.
out for foolishness.
Okay.
They're trying to start stuff.
Let me ask Lil Big Nate a question. So,
Sure,
Lil
go
Big Nate, if a woman uses her femininity in a sense to where, let's say she is in an argument with a man and she slaps him, and then when he goes to hit her back, she says, "You know, I'm a woman. How dare you?" Like that is an example of you using your
No, madam. I
femininity.
disagree.
And how
A
is
feminine,
it not
madam. If you let me answer,
answer
I'll
the
do it.
question.
This is the problem trying to talk.
Come on, come on, lad. Just answer the question. We're having a discussion.
feminine
we don't need you to
woman-
lecture us on what the problem
Madam, a feminine woman would never slap a man. Sorry. That's where you
Okay.
lose your argument. A feminine woman would never engage in that kind of behavior. Period.
So
feminine women don't do
if
that.
you say at that time she was not behaving as a feminine woman, when he reacts and he hits her and she says, "Oh my gosh, how can you hit me? I'm a woman." Or let's say when other women jump up and they say, "That's a woman, don't hit a woman." So are they not being feminine because they weren't the ones engaging in the behavior that, you know, resulted in him hitting her? But when they jump up and they use her femininity by saying, "That's a woman, how dare you hit a woman," that's an example of toxic femininity.
No, madam, I disagree. And
Okay.
I hope
that's fine.
I
We can
hope
agree to
it's okay to
disagree.
disagree. I hope
Absolutely.
it's okay to disagree with
we
Black
can
people.
agree to
It doesn't seem like it
we
doesn't
can
seem like it's
agree
okay.
to disagree, Lil Big Nate.
Now,
Just like
Can I say
you want me to
something?
answer you?
but I want you to know
Would you
that
like me to answer you?
femininity is a social construct. So if
Madam,
you think
I
that the
disagree
word
with
can't
that.
be modified, you don't think that femininity is a social construct?
No, madam. And if you let me
How?
answer the question, madam,
Please do.
let me
Well,
answer the
let
question.
me read these super chats real quick. Shout out to 757 Prime Time. He says, "I'm in here for only 2 minutes and y'all already acting up."
He's talking about the men.
I was just kidding. Shout out to Joe Whitfield. He said, "This is not a man's conversation and let the sisters speak their piece." Shout out to Joe Whitfield. Thank you guys.
Well, all you'd have to do is say, "Hey, Nate, this is not the panel for you," and I would have left. It's no problem. If you don't want a man,
we
Can I
started
say something
engaging,
real
so I
quick?
don't want you to leave. I do want to continue to have the conversation in a respectful manner, and I wanted
okay,
to give you an
then
opportunity
just
to
all I'm asking is
respond.
you let me respond to what you said.
Go ahead.
Concrete Rose. Femininity is not a construct of culture and social leanings and mores and forays. Femininity is at the base of your nature as a woman. Your maternal instincts, your femininity, all come from your nature as a woman. Okay, I don't care what any political party or what leftist or rightist leanings someone might have. Femininity is what it is, and it is informed by your nature as a woman.
I disagree with that because back
Okay,
in,
if
you look at before we had like serving utensils, women were picking up a drumstick and eating it, and just like a man would. Like that is like more learned.
But you also know what happened. You also know what happened at the time, Concrete Rose. Women knew millions of years back that a man needed to protect them, that they're not out to be hunting. That's part of their femininity. And
we still know that men need to protect us. Like,
but
it's not a
okay. Because
I'm gonna drop that subject. I'll back out.
Because men, especially manosphere men, they are always running around saying that the Black woman cannot tell a man how to be a man. So what makes you think that a Black man can tell a Black woman how to be a Black woman? You cannot tell a woman, hold tight, can I finish, sir? Sir, can I finish making my point?
Go ahead.
You cannot tell a Black woman what is femininity, what isn't femininity, what is too much and what isn't too much. Because if a woman wants a man to prove that he can take care of her before she starts doing certain things for him, that is femininity. That is having a standard. But men don't want women like that, because then that means they have a challenge and they have to step up to the table in order to perform and provide for said woman. So if you don't like a woman that is aggressive and has a point of view, that's perfect for you because you're an individual, but you don't get to tell us as a group that that's not okay.
Can I respond, please? I'm exactly who needs to tell you about how you need to act. Okay. You know why?
You triggering Lil Big Name.
I don't, madam.
Why are y'all still getting triggered by him? He does this all the time.
Concrete Rose.
Can you answer the question why? Why do you feel as though that you don't want that shit to
Just let him talk and you can move on.
I know, but it's the way he says it.
You see what happens?
He says it every week. Just let him say it.
He's literally trying to sit over here and pick you. And like I said, every time he gets a panel triggered, the first thing that comes out of his mouth, see, this is what I told you.
Yeah, he does do that. I'm exactly the person who needs to tell you what femininity is.
That also isn't true, man.
Shout out to the wealthy firefighter. Let me read these super chats real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Shout out to the wealthy firefighter. He says, "Lil Big Nate got this panel lit." Facts. Shout out to Sick Lid. He says, "Free Ty City now. Tell Ty City to give me a wrench on his channel too." Anyway,
don't block anyone from the channel, though, guys.
Can I respond real quick? I didn't finish before y'all blew up at me.
Go ahead.
And I'll be real quick.
Hold on.
If you're depending on me to protect you, provide for you, I need to be able to instruct you on how to act.
I don't need you to protect me. I have a gun.
You instruct your own women, and what we've already come to figure out is that Black men said they're not protecting women outside of their tribe. They're going to protect the Black women within their circle. So the best thing for you to do is go and advise your circle of women how to act. You should be talking to them.
Sister George.
Don't you have a wife?
Sister George, the problem is Black women collectively on a macro scale have an attitude that no Black man can tell them what to do.
Are you married?
Ladies,
that's not true.
Ladies, that is
Are you married? Are you married?
Very wrong, sir.
My man tells me what to do.
Married, Little Big Name?
So
no. You're not married. Are you in a relationship?
Madam, how do you? I'm
asking you a question. Are you in a relationship?
And I got full custody of my 2 children.
Are you in a relationship?
Can y'all let him just say his spiel so we can move on?
Okay, so then you have nothing to do with your personal life but to come on a panel and tell women how they should act. Go find you a woman that fits your criteria and live happily ever after.
And this is part of the problem. Black women believe
no
that
problem.
Black man can tell them everything. And
I just gave you a solution. If you're unhappy,
rate of marriage.
Go find someone to make you happy.
This is why you have a 26% rate of marriage.
Oh, we're happy.
You believe no Black man.
Okay, and men have
and we're happy, sir.
30%.
Go find your happiness. Go find your
Madam, I'm
happiness.
happy.
You're not, George. You're aggressive.
You don't sound happy.
I'm aggressive.
You're aggressive. You're telling us what we need to do.
Does he sound happy to you?
Let's move the conversation forward because
we should change
it
to
get nowhere.
Are you happy? The title, are you happy?
We completely disagree.
No problem. We can do that.
Let's disagree.
His voice is rising up, Sister George.
Said that. Let's agree to disagree. So
Awesome.
I don't know who was
Let's
next
get
on the panel,
somebody
but I
else
wanted to
in.
kind of let somebody else chime
Let me hop in here on this. Let me say, Lil Big Nate, I get what you're saying because it's true as a whole. Black women lack femininity. That's why these
Whoa,
stereotypes
Erlerin, don't say that,
exist.
sir. Ooh,
Hey,
please.
hold on. Let me give an example here in the sphere. The Jessica X chick. She's probably a catfish. She'll never have to cam up or prove it or anything. niggas are just lost over her just because she's soft spoken. That's how deprived they are
Absolutely
of
so.
femininity.
Absolutely.
And here's why it's important. Like I don't know who that is above me. I think Dana or whatever. Like she said, that
They
if
know
they're
whatever
happy,
is the real Dana.
okay, well, I can't see the names right now. So, but anyways, like she said, that's fine. That she said they're happy like that. You can instruct them, and that's cool. But the title of the thing talking about toxic femininity, I agree with Nate on that. It's a lack of femininity, and the lack is
Okay.
so
Absolutely.
profound.
Okay,
Y'all,
Like, even
y'all
the
always
slightest.
do that when we have
wait
a
a minute.
topic.
Wait a minute.
Y'all
Let
like
me
to
ask.
argue
Let me ask
Hold on,
the
let me
men on the panel a
finish. All
question.
right,
Y'all
never
like to
mind.
argue
Salute,
semantics
bruh.
about the topic. We not gonna change the topic.
Okay, and let me
What?
read these super chats, and
I
then I got a
agree with the
question to
topic.
men on the panel. Shout out to Bay. He says, "Wrong topic, Nate. Let them have it. Come back next week, bruh." Thank you so much, babe. And shout out to
I'll step down, no problem. If you want.
shout out to Entanglement TV, also known as Thai Fan TV. He says, "Little Big Nate, you got hyenas triggered. At least he pays for it." Thank you so much, Thai Fan.
Dan, what hyenas are you referring to? Like, you guys like to attack women and call them these derogatory names with no basis behind it. Like, if you say something, and if you come up on the panel and you say something that's offensive, absolutely we're going to react, just as if we were on a man's panel and we came up and we started attacking masculinity or saying something offensive relating to what
Madam,
makes a
I didn't
man.
attack
Hold on, let me
femininity. I
finish.
defended
But
it.
let me finish. I didn't say that you did. Or if we tell a man what it takes to be a masculine man, the men on the panel would be offended as well, and they would react similar to how we're reacting. That does not make us hyenas. We're
Madam, and you're right. Concrete Rose, you're absolutely right. That's why I don't call women names. I don't do that. Or on any panel I've been on.
I wasn't saying that.
No,
you
no,
did,
I know that, and I understand.
Okay.
I'm working with you here. Okay. Well, what I want you ladies to understand about this breed of black men who understand their position is to direct and guide you, whether you have the understanding of it or not. You have been fed such a diet of poison from the people you have chosen to listen to over the course of your life as a young child, the nonsense your mother fed you, the nonsense you got from grade school and in your formative years in middle school and high school. And then God forbid you go to a college campus and go into a women's studies class. Your mind is going to be destroyed with what you're taught. What my job is as a black man who genuinely cares about you, and whether you ladies on this panel or in the chat understand it or not, I have a black daughter I've raised since she was 2. She's 19 now, okay? I am deeply invested in whether or not there are decent black women. I also have a 22-year-old son that I would like to be with a black woman. But the current state of black women, there is no way he's going to be able to marry one of you all. You are absolutely against the idea of listening to us.
Okay, can we stop with the trolling, please? Can we stop with the trolling every week?
I have a militant
Stop
black
with the
man
trolling.
who keeps me in line. So we don't need you to come up on the panel
Stop.
and make sure that you check every black woman and make sure that they're kept in line.
You're falling for the trolling. Concrete, you're falling for the trolling.
This is not trolling, madam.
It is. You're falling for it. Stop falling for the trolling.
It's shout out to Jessica X. She says, "Damn, now I gotta pull up." Jessica X, you know how it is when they say
you know who Jessica's going to agree with, right?
Hold on. You know,
shout out to Melody. Thank you so much, Melody. And shout out to Soul Provider Speaks. He says, "All hail the woman sphere and the Hope Roosters." Shout out to the woman sphere 1.0. We here.
Ladies, I'm not
every week we have a topic, and every week certain people, there's 2 or 3 of them, come up there and say the same thing every week, and we fall for the trolling.
I have been on
The same thing is said every single week.
Hold on.
Again, we had a whole different topic.
I've never talked
We had
about
a whole
femininity
different
before.
topic, and it's being derailed
I've never
by
talked about
somebody who's
femininity
saying the
before.
same thing they say every single week.
I've never
So
talked
after
about
he
femininity
finishes,
before, madam.
let's move on and let's hear the same diatribe again. Vote for Trump. Where the Democratic Party is bad, feminism is bad, black women are bad. We heard this same nonsense every single time. Let them get it out so we can get it over with and move on to what we want to talk about.
Okay, go ahead, Big Nate. Tell us how we ain't shit. Go ahead.
Madam, I could
tell us how we ain't shit, Big Nate. Go ahead.
You know what? I'm gonna chill. I want other men to speak. Gentlemen, I want y'all to speak.
Let me say this.
Shout out to Kenny Concho for the super chat. Thank you so much, Kenny.
Woman. So even if a woman is having a disagreement with somebody or whatever, she should have that disagreement in the midst of her femininity. She shouldn't get off her mouth and start going off. That's not feminine. You can
So wait, what's a feminine way to disagree?
Okay.
What's a feminine way to disagree?
I'll answer that after him. Go ahead.
A feminine way to disagree is simply if you're in say you're in Walmart, somebody bumps your cart, you should, because I've seen this happen before. You shouldn't, as a woman, start cussing that man out or whatever. You should just say excuse me or whatever and walk away or whatever. You should be avoiding conflict at all costs. That's a part of femininity. To try to avoid.
But let's say like on a panel where you're having they're dissenting opinions on a panel.
Feminine women wouldn't disagree with us.
Cursing or anything like that. I call it man mouth when you speak like a man would. If you arguing with me and it sounds like I'm arguing with any nigga, that's not feminine. I call it
I agree with that, but come on, like Lil Big Nate, if you want someone that's not going to agree with you, then you need to find one of those plastic dolls. Like,
madam,
we are individuals. We're going to have differences of opinion.
Madam,
you shouldn't expect because we're women that we would automatically agree with.
Concrete Rose.
That's unrealistic.
No, Concrete Rose. It's absolutely realistic. Let me tell you why it is. Okay. If you're with a man and you understand that I have your absolute best interests at heart in everything that I tell you, as I get up for the next 35 years to go to a job that I hate, to work and provide for you, you should follow my directives, period.
But you're talking about a woman that would be in your specific circle.
You should get a better job.
Like, you're
women.
You
That's why very disrespectful and dismissive manner. None of these women
get up and you know what, ladies? I'm gonna drop all the women down because the men seem to know more about femininity. I'll back down and let them talk about
down, and it's not out of anger.
No, I mean, you know more than us. You know more than us. So tell us about being a feminine woman. You know more.
I would like to hear more about your miserable job. Why do you stay at a job for 20 years?
Madam, most if you look at Pew Research, most people don't like the jobs they're in.
Well, why didn't you improve yourself, level up?
Madam, all these
where is your wife?
All these ridiculous terms that women have.
But where's your wife?
Get the bag. This nonsense is why this
ridiculous terms in this space as well. Come on now.
Absolutely, there are. Okay,
but where's your wife? Where's your woman?
Madam, I don't have a steady woman right now. I don't want one
because he's broke. He don't have a good job. That's
why. Listen,
now I am going to back down because
if you have children, if you have children, then you have had women under your tutelage. So what happened that you weren't able to instruct the women that you had under your tutelage that you had children with to be the feminine that you wanted?
Madam, no.
Because you're talking this to women that are married. I mean, you can tell somebody what femininity is when you can't seal a deal for yourself.
I took care of myself and I took care of two children.
To raise your kid.
Why attack a person?
See how disrespectful and dismissive these people are? You're never going to be able to do that. Hey, ladies.
Disrespectful and dismissive. You don't like it, then don't
wait a minute. Let Nate talk, y'all.
You already know what he's about to say.
Just let them get it out. Let them get it all out.
This is why Rebecca Lynn Pope doesn't work with you. This is why other women trying to teach femininity don't work with you. Because you refuse to show respect. I have never disrespected anybody on a panel.
Who's disrespecting you?
It's not disrespect.
You asked questions and questions was asked of you.
I'm
So they
taking
can
my
ask questions.
position.
You can't take a
Who's
question back. How are you
disrespecting
leading a
you?
woman?
Big
If you
Nate.
can't take a
Lady, I don't disrespect women on
guys.
panels. I don't do
Okay,
that.
but Lil Big Nate, who's disrespecting you? Because we say something.
Dana said I was broke.
Oh,
Dana
that's
said
what
I
you
was
said.
I did not
broke.
disrespect her. I just said because you
Dana
said you
said, there are-
Listen,
We're
One at a time. Have someone else chime in because we don't want to get stuck.
I'm going to back down. I'm going to back
Okay,
down.
Lil Big Nate, thank you for coming up.
Y'all take
let's-
care. Bye-bye.
Let's let someone else chime in.
Can I say something after this?
Go ahead. Who's that? Nuruddin?
Yeah, it's me. How you doing,
Go
guys? How
ahead.
you doing, ladies?
Hi.
How y'all
Hello.
doing, everybody?
What do you want to say relating to the topic or what we've been discussing?
Wow. Oh man. Where do I begin? If I the way femininity works, I don't know how it works for a lot of women, but I think I've seen femininity in my life is when, let's say, if there's like a danger coming to us as far as like financially, or let's say things that are affecting our household, right? And let's say if I'm financially stable, but woman is kind of, she wants to see, like, she sees flashy things, and you say to her, listen, I may not be able to afford it right now. You may not need that high-end car. Let's get the car that's reliable, and then when we save up enough, then you can get the the flashy car. And then she goes around and says, I want that flashy car anyway. And you say to her, listen, it's going to financially drain us. Let's hold off for a minute and let's save up so that we can pay some bills right now so that we have money saved up. And she keeps arguing with you. That's not feminine at all. That's someone who just wants to be, it kind of reminds me of the analogy where a husband says, hey, mama, I want to buy, I know you've seen these shoes or whatever, these, $300 shoes, but let me just hold out until next week. I know you want them now. Now, the way that a lot of these feminine women sell that is by, let's say they go out and they get them, but then they put something sexy on and sell it to you. That's feminine. With our, I hate saying that word, but with some sisters, they'll tell you it's my money. I'll go out and do it anyway. So the way you sell femininity, as far as like being feminine, you put something nice, putting something sexy on. You put let's say a dinner on the table, and then you say that, hey honey, I know you just said you didn't want to get these, they want me to have these shoes, but they look good on me, and how you like them. See, I could forgive a woman for doing that. At least she sold it to me. Now, when you're rough and you are take no prisoners attitude, a guy don't want to hear that. Does that make sense?
So you're saying she's not cooperative?
To a certain extent. I could take some uncooperative.
So you want her to use her femininity to be manipulative? I see. I got you. I follow.
No, not manipulative, not manipulative, but kind of like I said, you gotta with me sell femininity to me, but don't. I understand that she may have went behind my back and did it, but at least have a good reason for doing it. But when you're loud and violent and you're saying, because I don't want to use the N word, so please forgive me if I say ninja.
What you're saying,
but forgive me if I say ninja instead of the actual N word, because that's what I refer to them as. Now, if she says, yeah, ninja, I do what I want with my own, with your and my money, I don't want to deal with that. If it's financially unstable and I can see the financial,
she doesn't respect you, so you shouldn't.
Yeah, and that's why that's the women that you get away from. Does that make sense?
But
yeah, that does make
Just
sense.
get away from them.
Yeah. Shout out
Yeah,
to my brother,
yeah.
the Raja Report. He says, I like that ladies are discussing femininity. Different women do have different levels of femininity. So I support women trying to raise the level of femininity in our community. It's definitely needed. So is my Hennessy, Roger. Where's my Hennessy money at, bruh? And
Uh-oh.
shout out to Spiritual Logic.
Somewhere.
He says the results prove femininity for women based on being at peace in their own drama free role of a woman under the headship of a qualified masculine man. Thank you so much, Spiritual Logic.
I agree with that.
So if a woman is not under the qualified leadership of a masculine man, does that mean that she's not feminine, or that
No, that
she
means
is
that
any less feminine?
But if she
I'm
remains,
sorry, what did you say? Can you repeat that?
I said, you said if a woman is single but she's feminine, but does that mean she's not feminine because she's single? I said no, it just means she hasn't been chosen yet. But if she remains feminine and she's conducting herself accordingly, she will be picked eventually. Again, the case is
Yeah.
something
So
simple.
the reason I asked
Well,
that
the men
question
don't
before
pick.
you continue, I wanted to say really quickly that
What?
if a woman, because there seems, you guys continue to insist that there's a shortage of femininity in the Black community, or that it doesn't
There is.
exist at all. If a woman is truly feminine, then I would assume that she would be single for long, because there's a shortage of feminine, unless she's undesirable, like she's physically unattractive. Because there's a shortage, I would assume that she wouldn't be Caesar. She would not. Sorry, I saw Caesar's super chat. She wouldn't be single for very long.
No, if she
Can I?
Yeah, but
And
but
can I
Miss
just say
Miss
something to what
Rose,
he said about
Miss
being
Rose,
picked real quick? Women, we're not picked. You present the offer and we choose as if we want it. See, a feminine woman, we are not chosen. You present us an offer and it's up to us to decide whether we want it or not. That's how it goes.
so why is it
Can I
okay?
Wait,
read the
wait, wait. Let
definition
me
of
Miss
femininity?
Rose, I
super
saw
chat.
some.
Hey,
One
let me read.
second. One second, guys.
Shout out to brother Caesar D1 for the $49.99. He says,
Thank you,
shout
Caesar.
out to Dana and all the women who cam up and yam up. Niggas in this space then put Jessica X on the same level as Shira 7. Stop it. Until she cam up, she just an avatar. Beautiful women
Why y'all
don't
coming for
die
Jessica?
ever. Beauty
It's
is
jealousy.
for the women. For women. Thank you
No,
so much.
the whole point. Jessica,
Can I read?
Thank you to Pretty Dana. Thank you, Dana.
Can I
her
read
popularity.
what the actual meaning is? But everybody has
Hold on.
different meanings.
Yes, please, Miss J.
Okay. I just want to
how
read what the actual definition is so we can have a clear understanding, because everybody has different meanings what it means. So again, femininity, also called womanliness or girlishness, is a set of attributes, behaviors, and roles generally associated with women and girls. Although femininity is socially constructed, some research indicates that some
Oh, wait,
behaviors
did you
considered
say it's
feminine.
socially constructed? Oh,
Yeah, I'm reading it. Yes, it's correct. You are right. Although some femininity is socially constructed, some research indicates that some behavior considered feminine are biologically influenced. To what extent femininity is biologically or socially influenced is subject to debate. It is distinct from the definition of the biological female sex, as both males and females can exhibit feminine traits. Traits traditionally cited as feminine include gentleness, empathy, humility, and sensitivity. Though traits associated with femininity vary across societies and individuals and are influenced by a variety of social and cultural factors.
nothing
So
soft
that's
or
what the
feminine about
definition
cussing
of
people out.
femininity is.
thank
And there's
you
nothing
very,
soft or
very
feminine
much. We
about cussing
appreciate
people
that,
out.
Miss J. But what do you mean there's nothing soft and feminine about cussing people out? Like, what are you referring to when you say that?
Our society at large. Even if you look at a lot of the female entertainers, I'm talking about the Black community as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
because we're all Black. So even if you look at the entertainers and the entertainment industry, even how a lot of the women talk, they talking about sex just like men. That's not feminine. They're talking about all these things just like men. It's not feminine. If you go
Hey,
anywhere
but
and
judging by this, nobody is 100% feminine or masculine.
See, and then
You
they,
can
they
exhibit
say
you can exhibit traits of both.
That's
you
what
can
I
even
would assume,
say
that
stuff
people aren't
that
100%
are watching
feminine
the porn.
100% of the time. Like, it's hard to be feminine 100% of the time when we're in a westernized society, when we're, you know, in board meetings, when we're competing for job, when we're competing against men for jobs. Like, it's
Okay, so
extremely
so
difficult.
so see, Rose, that's a perfect example of why women aren't. And I agree with you. The things that you said, those are reasons why these women are not feminine. The point still stands that they're not feminine, but then we can discuss those things that you just said of why they're not
But
feminine.
I don't
That's
think that
valid.
it's a 100. I was saying I don't think they're feminine 100% of the time. You can rest in your femininity most of the time, but there are going to be some times when you have to be assertive. Just even thinking about the fact that women say that they're not protected. If you're not protected and you have to, ward off people that are coming for you, then
And there's
that's going to
ways,
require some assertiveness, which would be typically deemed a
there's
masculine
a feminine
trait.
way to do it, though. There's a feminine way to handle one.
What's the feminine way when somebody coming at you and you're scared that somebody's gonna assault you? Like, there's no feminine way
You don't
to
you don't meet
handle.
with aggression. That's not feminine
Okay,
at all. You don't
yeah,
meet aggression.
but I don't
I
understand
mean,
how
you can
you
go
can
to the
feel
cops after you're assaulted. That's feminine.
exactly after you're assaulted.
So I have
However,
a question.
if you packing, then you can handle it right then and there, and then contact the police. You have to be assaulted first,
I mean,
and
but the
then
women in Saudi Arabia are feminine. Do we really want to live like them? No.
But are they feminine?
not
Like,
subject,
who gets
not
to determine
subjugated.
that?
I
Who
mean,
said
they
that?
are
You know,
feminine.
they're
They
more
ain't got a
feminine?
choice.
Yeah, they have
They
no
get the
right.
head chops off that they're not.
Right, but their culture in their culture over there in Saudi Arabia, they think that's what women are supposed
I
to
know. I'm saying,
do.
but the question should be: do you want to be 100% feminine? It don't sound like it's a good
I
thing.
don't think
Someone
that's
brought up on
feminine.
our last show
I
that
just think that's
unless we
just what
have,
men
and
put rules on women.
yeah, and somebody brought that up on our last show. I forgot who it was, but he had a very interesting point. He said that unless we're in a society where the legal system, essentially where women are subjugated, the legal system upholds women, behaving in a feminine manner, then we're not going to have a society where women are 100% feminine. And I agree with that.
And you're
Unless
not going to
women
have a
are
society
oppressed.
where the men are 100% masculine, because that's not freedom. You can only do that through slavery, where you
But the
make
thing
someone be
is, right?
subjugated. So that whole conversation, no one's going to be 100% of anything.
Listen, I don't even like Jessica X, but listen to her talk versus other women talk.
I
Go
was
ahead.
going to say though,
Okay,
even
that's how she
Oh my
talks.
gosh,
even
y'all coming for
I'm
Jessica.
gonna
Go
make
ahead,
a
Jessica.
point about the voice thing after, but even in those countries, the women are still not 100% feminine. It still doesn't necessarily mean that the women are well behaved.
Right.
What happens is the bad behavior just goes underground, but it still happens. It doesn't get rid of it; it just gets hidden.
I'm
So
saying
we
nobody is
exactly.
100% anything. That's
It shouldn't.
impossible.
This is the thing. I don't think it should
So
be
they're
forced.
creating a standard that is, they're creating a standard for us
That's literally
impossible to
impossible.
live up to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Then it's pointless.
It doesn't exist.
No,
Now you can have better behavior, but no one's going to have 100% of anything. That's impossible.
There's a distinct difference. What she said is that there's still behavior that men find undesirable that's happening anywhere, which of course is going to be the case. I'm saying there is a feminine way to behave, to do anything. So even if you're going to be disagreeable with someone, there's a feminine way to do it. There's a difference. Nobody's saying you're always going to be
Right,
agreeing
but
with
to
somebody.
Jessica's point, do you want them to just simply hide their non-feminine behavior? Do you want to? Is that what you want Black women to do? To hide to conceal their
I want them
non-feminine
to,
behavior?
yes, I want them to be feminine. When you have a disagreement, I shouldn't be able to hear Black women just cursing, speaking as men. There's no softness to them. Now we can discuss why. And Concrete Rose, you brought up valid points as to why they're like that. That has become the default, and that's what men are saying. That has become the default of women's behavior, and that's not feminine.
Well,
J.I., let me.
level of femininity is the tone of her voice. Well, if we're going to be,
I use that as an example.
Looking at aesthetics, you're talking about Jessica. She has a English accent, so maybe you're attractive to that. But at the same time, let's flip it to masculinity. You don't sound like a man. I think a masculine man should sound more in charge, or more confident, more deeper. So who am I and who are you to put a standard on a level of femininity or masculinity.
She has a good point, because I've heard people attack
because it's all
GC and say he
subjective.
doesn't sound
Exactly.
masculine.
It's subjective.
It's
and that's kind of
subjective.
unfair.
That's all it is. It's a
masculine.
personal opinion.
And I was going to come in and say the voice, essentially, because people say, oh, you know, Jessica, you try and come in with this soft-spoken voice. You're trying to, I don't know, that's feminine, or you're faking femininity or whatever about the voice, right? Your voice does not make you feminine. Your voice is your voice.
Say that.
Right.
It's not a factor of femininity. It's more your actions, and I can say the tone in which you react, but your voice itself, if somebody comes in and talks like this, or if a woman comes in and talks like this, one isn't feminine, the other one is non-feminine.
I've heard women,
Americans love.
I've heard soft-spoken women. I've heard soft-spoken women. You be passive aggressive and
Nicole,
still attack a man. So that doesn't mean that you're exuding femininity because you have a soft voice.
It's more about the way they conduct themselves rather than the voice per se.
Right. Let me read.
Yeah, because some people have a phone voice, a professional phone voice, then they have their regular talking voice. It's just.
Let me read the super chat. Shout out to Jack Spade. He says, ladies, take a 5-minute break. Put on your red dress, slip on your high heels, and button down pink petty sorority ink sweaters. Make Jackie happy.
No. Wait, I'm sorry. That wasn't feminine of me. Thank you, Jack.
I put on a red
say no.
sweater.
You gotta say
Who is saying that she's bodying because she said that she found my voice not to be deep enough or whatever?
Soft-spoken if I wanted
That's
to.
insane.
Hello.
What were you saying, J.I., in response to what Justin
What
said?
did you say, J.I.?
You need to say
Yeah, what I was saying.
What y'all doing up on this? What y'all doing on this panel now?
What's going
What
on?
the hell? Am I on some call? Oh
how
Lord,
are
is
you
this some call-in center?
What's going on, guys? Is everything okay?
Oh Lord, where my Bible at?
Are you going to be
Y'all
drinking
need to
tonight,
quit.
BMT, on your show?
No. Yes, I will be drinking. Yes, I will drink.
I don't
But I'm
think
a
you
man.
should drink a whole lot, BMT.
I don't give a shit. I'm a man, and I'm gonna drink my damn beer.
Drinking is not masculine, BMT.
Shit, the devil's a lie. This beer and pork rinds is gonna say different when I get on my show. I don't
Oh my
shit.
God, BMT, you shouldn't be eating pork rinds.
You can get your ass in the kitchen and make some cornbread. So we can balance it out. I'll go get y'all a pan of cornbread, and y'all go make the
A
cornbread.
classic Southern woman, soft-spoken. You sound like a Southern belle, Danny.
Honey, I will cook a Sunday meal on a Tuesday night, honey.
Yep. Did you soak the cabbage? Did you soak the cabbage?
J.I.,
and
is that
get-
better
and-
for you?
stuff?
Is that feminine enough, J.I.?
Ain't no woman sound. Listen, bro. If a woman sound like that, it's a trap, fam. It's a trap.
That is an improvement over regular voice. Absolutely.
No, but if you take that, right, as a factor of what makes a woman feminine, it's easy for you to be taken in by fake femininity. A voice isn't, like I say, a precursor to give you a clue that she's feminine. It's one thing that sometimes women try and fake in order to appear feminine, but
And
that's
get
not
what they
true
want.
femininity.
But guess what? Just like that's how Dana faked it. You can't fake that long term. And I didn't say
you
that's
can.
the end all.
You can.
Listen, hold up. I didn't say that's the end all be all. Because Jessica X, the only example, and it's no secret that I don't like.
Yeah, but you use that to pedestalize her and tell us, this is an example of what femininity is supposed to be.
I said her popularity in this sector is simply because she's soft-spoken, and men are so deprived of that aspect of femininity that's all it took for her to become well accepted in this space.
But what does that tell you?
They desperate.
That tell you that women, if they want to get something out of a man, you just put on a soft voice and you be soft and nurturing, and we can get whatever we want from you.
I like a woman that could drink a 211, light up a black a mile, kick off her damn sandals, and damn it, that shit turn me on like no tomorrow, boy. I'll tell you right now, any woman that can fire a hog and damn smoke a damn black a mile with me, shit, I'm gonna give you a baby. I ain't gonna lie. Shit, I love a woman like that, boy. That's a woman. But but you know what the problem is? Let me tell y'all right now, because I've been listening to a lot of these goofy ass niggas, and they sound crazy as hell. Why would you want your woman to be effeminate with every goddamn nigga on the street? That's not her. That makes no sense to me. When a woman finds a man that she is infatuated and that she want to be with and submit to, she will submit that femininity to you. And
femininity isn't something you choose to submit. Femininity should be a constant state of being. Now, submission, right, is something that is selective. You don't just submit to everyone, but femininity should be constant.
No, see that's where let me hit you at. Let me hit you back with that. Because let me hit you with that because I'm running the home.
No one is constantly feminine 100%
exactly.
Of
That's
the
what I'm
time.
saying.
In addition, I know that like I'm a feminine person and I'm generally soft-spoken, even when trying to reject someone. And my fiance is from the East Coast. He told me that I need to be more assertive in rejecting them because that can welcome problems. So I think that when you live in a westernized society, it's almost dangerous to try to be 100% feminine all the time, and you're rejecting someone, but you're being, you're smiling in his face, and oh, honey, no, that could make you a target.
You're right. No, you're right about that. You're right. You're right about that, lady. And let me tell you right now. You got it with these nuts these days, where when a female says, "Oh no," means yes, yes means, and I'll think about it, or please talk to me later, or how you doing? Oh shit, that means we're gonna fuck. So clearly, a lot of these young fellas and these old goddamn sugar daddies, they believe anything the woman says, it means let's fuck. But that's why I'm saying that I purposely tell my woman, listen, man. You can't be nice to all these niggas on the street. You don't got to submit. You can say, how you doing? Yes, nice. But people take it too far. Just like for me, when I hear a woman say, I got to protect, I'm supposed to protect the women. I'm like, nigga, I'm not risking my life for you. And then my woman's out there in the cold with nobody to protect. No. If you being effeminate and you out there with your child and something, and you in immediate danger, I will go over there as a man and assert my dominance and masculinity. But if you's like, oh no, I got this. Oh, okay, good luck, Wonder Woman. Good luck.
Listen, in our country, if you are trying to be feminine 100% of the time, I'm gonna tell you something. People are going to see you as a mark.
Yup, they going to end up in a ditch. Yes, you end up in a ditch. Your family's gonna come in the morgue and look at you. Identify your body.
They always get got first.
I think sometimes we kind of assign femininity as being weak or being, completely like you're just, you can't even, how can I put it? Like you're just this weakling and everybody's going to take advantage of you. That's not the case. Even if a guy approaches you, right? If a guy approaches you, the woman that he's least likely to get angry with is the feminine woman. The woman that he's more likely to get angry with is the woman that's like, "Oh, why are you talking to me?"
Yeah, but they'll disrespect you here if you're feminine or not. But Jessica, like when you say that, like assertiveness is a dominant trait, and that's generally tied to masculinity. So you're not being feminine if you have to be assertive.
No, you can still get your point across.
No, you can't.
You have to be assertive, and that's a male trait. That's tied to masculinity.
Hold on. Let's ask Jessica this. I read a story about a female that told a guy no. She was a beautiful woman. The guy came back and took acid. This is in the UK, and threw it all over her beautiful face.
That wasn't the case. You're talking about Katie Piper, that was actually.
Not Katie Piper. I know you're going to.
So who was
but
it?
I'm just saying.
Was it the black girl? Because there was only 2 cases.
No, it was a white woman. It was a white woman.
So it's the Katie Piper case, and it was actually her ex-boyfriend who she split up with, not a guy that she's just some random guy that she told no.
Okay, now hold on.
I can tell you, I've never ever swore at a man when rejecting him, and I've been called bees. I'm always extremely pleasant. I smile. Hi, no, thank you. I'm not interested, and I still get cursed out.
Okay, but then would that change if you were to swear back at him and get in his face?
Oh, I'm sure it could escalate the situation.
It would escalate. So the best thing to do is just remain in your femininity. Because when you sort of masculinize, is that a word? Masculinize yourself, you're almost trying to challenge him and, say, okay, I'm up for a fight. And the situation does get worse.
I think that it matters what demographic you're in. Ladies that live up north, and let's just say you live in the Bronx, New York and shit. If you walk around smiling, first of all, people up there don't walk around smiling because they're in New York.
They sure enough don't.
When
And
you
so-
smile, they know that they
People
will see
can
you
tell
as a
you're a
mark, too.
tourist by looking at you,
Right.
and how you look around. They can tell that you're a tourist or whatever just by
If
looking.
you're smiling, if you say hello, they think you're a tourist. If you're speaking and being pleasant.
True, because I live in the tri-state
It
area.
doesn't sound like a pleasant society.
Now, it's just that we know you're a tourist, but up here we're jaded. So people are not. You're talking about a black girl in the Bronx probably living in the projects. That's a different trajectory.
Exactly.
Let's say someone living in a townhouse in Harlem or in Midtown or in
Yeah, that does
Soho.
make a difference.
Right.
So
That does make
it
a difference.
depends where, but also what we all are up here, we are very jaded. But they're and I'm in Jersey, so people smile. It's just that we just know you're a tourist, period, because it's the first time you've been to New York and you're excited. We're just not excited.
I
They
can tell
be
you.
kind of looking
Well,
at you
then
like,
you're
get out of my way. You're
Yeah,
stopping,
because you're
looking
you're,
and
you're
smiling.
moving slow,
Did-
trying to take pictures, and we're trying to go to work.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
But
the
also,
su-
you can be assertive
Well, then
without
that would be a
swearing.
reason why.
Though.
But they still lack femininity.
That's true, Mr. J.
But
People act like there's a difference. We have to always be smiling when
Danny-
you're cursing someone else. There is like a in between.
Right.
You know,
Danny,
most
you
people
made
are
a
in the
good
in
point.
between.
It probably does have to do with kind of where you live too, because I live in the South now and I've never encountered that here. But when I lived in Chicago is when I would get the disrespect when you reject someone who's trying to talk to
you
you.
better not be walking in them booty
Oh,
shorts.
in Chicago?
I'm gonna say some shit.
Right.
Yeah, I heard Midwest men are very aggressive and mean, and that's not East Coast. That's Midwest.
That's how they say they
Illinois,
like you?
Chicago.
Yeah. That they will get real disrespectful in Chicago.
Now-
And if you say something slick, you wound up getting slapped or knocked out.
Now I got
Right, well, up here in the tri-state, if a man try to holler at you, and you ignore him, he just keep it moving, like whatever.
Not everywhere. I disagree. I live in New York, and that's not always the case. It's like 50-50.
Well, what part? What did you experience? Like
I
somebody
didn't
been
experience it, but I mean, you see it on ABC7. You see it on the news. It's in every borough. I'm from Queens, so this happens in Queens. It happens in Brooklyn.
what happened?
Women,
Because I
know,
used to hang out in Queens. My son's father was from. I used to be all up in through Queens and all the other boroughs, and a lot of times, like, well, usually if a guy say hello and you don't say nothing back, yeah, they'll probably say, "But shit, that's rude or something." But if you say hello and you know he's trying to kick it, like, can I get your number? No, thank you. I have a man.
Yeah, they'll still call you a dumb bitch.
Well,
So,
it depends. It that's far in between.
I mean,
that's
I don't
not
know
the
how old
norm.
you are. I don't know what generation you come from. But,
Well, maybe are you describing like this young generation?
Yeah, for the most part.
Oh, yeah. I'm not that generation. I don't know.
No,
I don't know what my generation is, but it's not that one.
Let me ask y'all,
No
do
matter
y'all
what, hold on,
expect
you
a
can
man to be masculine for all of y'all? Do y'all expect a man to be masculine?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, be that protector, be that dominant, be that provide. Do y'all expect every man, if you right there struggling with your groceries, a man just to run up and say, "Here you go, baby. Let me pull out the umbrella."
Nah.
Or do y'all expect a man to be a masculine for all of y'all women?
No.
Well, remember one of the questions
No,
J.I.
not really.
asked us is if we like men who are aggressive. So maybe that's what BMT is trying to describe, because I don't, or hard. When he said, do we like men that are hard? And I don't like, and I said, only thing that needs to be hard is between your pants. I don't want you to be all hard around me for what?
That's
you're
not
at
true
work, you're not with your
masculinity to
boys.
me.
Hold on, I didn't ask
Right. That's not even true masculinity to me.
Not J.I.
If you-
Art,
to me, it
art.
could
I
be
was
like
talking about art.
pseudo-masculinity. That's
To
like
me,
pseudo-masculinity when you're trying to prove that you're hard. So you got the mean mug and that's not even
Yeah,
real
that's not
masculinity.
like,
Are we
like what
confusing
happened
polite
when, hold on,
with
let me say this.
femininity and masculinity?
Yes.
Yeah, I
When-
think
No,
they-
when-
it's like masculinity would
Just
be
now.
a constant state as well, just like femininity. Now, chivalry and protection, again, is
Those are
something you pick
different
and choose, just like submission
See,
for
I
women.
don't know,
For women.
because would we consider it masculinity if a man is being emotional, if a man is acting on his emotions and he's
that's not being
upset and
that's not being masculine.
It's not. No,
That's why
it's
I
no.
think it's a
We
100%
can't
constant
say
thing.
a man having emotions is a natural thing. Let's not
But
shame that.
acting on
Now,
emotions
if
is
he's-
something totally different. Men are
if-
logic. They're more logical than emotional. So if a man is
It's
acting
different.
his
They are
emotions,
more
he's not
logical.
being masculine at
They
all.
are more
Let me give it
logical, but they also have an emotional side, just like women are more
Yeah,
emotional, but we
everybody
also
has
have a logical
emotions,
side.
but
So it's
acting,
not
You
fair
can
to
operate
dismiss that a guy may
in a
have
masculine
emotions
way or a
sometimes.
feminine
If he's
way,
constantly operating
regardless
from
of
a emotional standpoint, then yes, that's
that's why I just said if you're
undesirable, right?
acting on your emotions and you don't know how to control your emotions
I know, but
and
I
you're a
was
male,
Yeah.
you're definitely not a man.
I was
I
saying
like,
it.
let
I
me
was
give
getting
this
the
example.
point out, but you kind of
right.
jumped in.
I understand what Jessica is saying, but I want to say this.
Like,
I don't know how it is in
I
the
would
UK.
explain
I know that here
like a
in the
lot of the
States,
chat
like
wanted.
we're not afforded the opportunity to be in a constant state of
I know your mother a
femininity.
loudmouth
Like
too,
we
Ad.
literally are not afforded that opportunity. I would love to not have to be assertive. I would love to be able to be in my femininity all the time, to not have to worry about if I'm being preyed upon, and not have to worry about not smiling because I don't want to seem too friendly. I would love to be afforded that opportunity, but to be honest, we're not afforded that opportunity, unless we live in a convent or something.
England,
Hold on, can you hear me
the
now?
UK,
I was having
not
mic
too
problems.
different to America. So I don't live in fairyland. It's actually quite similar, especially when we're talking
Well,
about a
I'm not
city like
insinuating that
London.
you are. I'm just saying I
No,
have nothing to pull from regarding, my
yeah,
statement.
Let me
not you,
give let
Concrete
me
Rose,
give an
but
example of this.
sometimes it's like that's what people think that it's like. But
Is it less
London,
crime though? Like not as, you don't kind of have to be on guard as much as you have to be in the States. And I don't know if you have anything to compare it to if you've ever been here.
London would be comparable to a city like New York.
Actually, London has more murders
So,
than New York City.
But it's
no,
smaller,
we
right?
They get killed by knives. We get killed by guns.
We had that was sort of like misinformation that was put out a while ago. And what happened was, I think for 2 weeks of the year, we had more murders than New York did. And so they started saying, London has more deaths than New York.
Yeah,
But besides that, it's more like New
it's
York.
pretty
So
similar. Okay.
yeah, so it's that sort of environment. And obviously you do have things that can happen, but as I said, the best thing that you can always do is just remain feminine. The moment that you're trying to be out there and be masculine and be tough, it's almost like you're trying to challenge everyone. And so they
And I
see
would
you as
never
fair
encourage
game.
that. Right.
Yeah.
And you also have to get out the hood.
All right, let me see.
If you live in I'm just saying, if you live in the hood, you try that stuff, you ain't gonna make it, honey. Let's be real.
I don't live in the
You
hood,
gotta
but
get out the hood.
The hood has like the best food spots and the
They
best
do.
places to go to get your
Got the best
lashes
bullets
done and
too.
nails done. So
That's
you
true.
people
You
go
are
back
Just saying,
to the
just don't try that. Jessica will last 2 seconds in the hood, and she needs to never go there. She opens her mouth, it is a wrap.
I don't live in a prissy area. I live in what might be considered a hood area because London is a very expensive
hood,
city. So if I wanted to buy a house in one of the nice areas, I'd be spending like, 2-3 million pounds. So yeah, I live in what's more considered a hood area, and I do just okay. I do fine.
The Philadelphia hood?
I do fine.
Okay. Well, who else wanted to chime in on the topic?
Let some more men speak so they can tell us.
Y'all been attacking the men's.
I could hear a guy talking, but he's very quiet.
Yeah, somebody trying to say something, but their mic
Put on your
seems all
masculine
jacked
voice,
up.
please, J.I.
Hold on,
hear me?
I'm gonna drop down and come back up. My mic is messed up. Can you hear me or is it messed
We
up?
can hear you, but if you're just a bit low, but we can hear you.
Oh shit. All right. Well, the point is that there's a feminine.
Masculinity into it, honey.
Yeah,
There's a
with a
feminine.
bass.
There's a feminine and a masculine way to carry yourself, and no matter what the situation is, you can still carry yourself with femininity. For example, like when Dana said my voice was too soft or made fun of my voice or whatever, and I could have gotten my feelings, and the child was, oh, she rose, blah blah blah, and went back and forth. But for what? That's who cares? See, there's a way that you can handle things. And just like y'all kept talking about, if a man's trying to get at you, femininity should be your default. You can curve a guy with femininity. You can curve a guy or address a situation while being feminine. There's no need to bring the masculine side to it and the reasons that you all came up with. Oh, the environment is bad, it's poor.
But no
You
one
can't
is encouraging people to not act on their femininity. No one is saying you can't be feminine when you're rejecting someone. No one said that. No one even implied that.
No, I'm saying you guys keep saying about these neighborhoods, they're dangerous or whatever. You can't be nice in these places. That means that that area is not conducive for femininity. That doesn't mean that because you've evolved, adapted to it, that means you left your femininity behind in order to adapt for your survival or whatever you got to do in that situation. But you have left your femininity. See, people keep trying to say that no matter what you do, it's feminine because you're a woman. And that's where the
Who
issue
said that?
comes in. That's what when
Who
y'all
was
say you
saying
don't
that?
that's what y'all keep alluding to when you say you don't have to be feminine full time.
No,
And
what we're saying is
We
you're
didn't
not
say you
feminine
don't
100%
have
of the
to. We
time.
said that we don't believe that you are, and we're not afforded the opportunity. And we talked about why, but we didn't say that you don't have to. You should be feminine as often as you possibly can. No one is discouraging anyone
you
from
can be
being
feminine
feminine.
all the time. You can be
Well, let
feminine
me
100%
ask
of
a
the
It's
time.
question
it's
to the
it's
women on
difficult
the
to do
panel.
that.
Let me ask a question. He can get the answer straight from the women on the panel. Ladies, do you like being feminine all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always feminine.
What percentage of the time would you say you're feminine? Like, let's start there. Like, what percentage of the time would you say that you're feminine?
Who, me?
All of the ladies on the panel. I guess it's a twofold question. Do you like and enjoy being feminine? It was the part that Danny asked, and I just wanted to know what percent. And for those after you answer that, what percentage of the time would you say that you are walking in your feminine energy?
I mean, I could curse you out in a white dress with tea gloves and shit on and still would consider myself as being feminine because it's just my state of being. But now, I would say I'm feminine the majority of the time. Do I like being feminine all the time? Yes, I love being feminine. I love being able to walk into my natural energy that I feel like I should be in all the time. Does life allow that? Not all the time. Not to me. I feel like I'm nice. Like if I reject somebody and I'm nice about it, and he calls me a stupid bitch anyway, and I say, well, fuck you. Yeah, I probably got out of my femininity, but it was somebody talking crazy to me, and it's like when men talk crazy to you, women are not allowed to defend themselves against men talking crazy to them, but it's like men will get up here and tell us, well, you still need to act a certain way, even if a man is doing whatever, that shouldn't change your behavior. And I just don't think that's realistic.
Okay, Dana.
But I just think we're confusing, but we're confusing like politeness with femininity, and that's two different things.
Well, I
No,
think that you can be giving not necessarily politeness, because I think that is two different things. Like you can be impolite and not be considered masculine, but if you curse
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying we're in this conversation. It seems like we're confusing politeness
not
with
considered femininity.
Yeah, I mean because you can.
What's the
polite is a
difference?
part of being feminine.
Exactly.
It's a part of being feminine.
Well,
Yes, but I guess
femininity is not masculine or feminine. It's politeness. You can be polite and be a man.
That's true too.
No, but polite is different than carrying yourself like it's how you carry yourself. Like for instance, me.
But you can be polite and be well mannered and still
I
be
don't think
masculine.
politeness would be attached to femininity.
Okay, but
I'm saying we are attaching that.
But this is the thing. Most people don't realize that like we all have masculine and feminine energy inside us at all the time based on nature and nurture. And one of these energies is usually the dominant one. But in order to have a happy and balanced life internally and externally, you have to bring those energies into balance together. That's called a bingo moment of energy. That's how we have happy, loving, and healthy relationships. Like, I think it's ridiculous that people want to sit there and say what women should be and what men should be.
Shaming women for.
I don't agree with that. I'd say.
Okay, well, we'll let everybody answer, and then you can chime in as to why you don't agree.
Yeah.
So,
who goes
we'll
next?
let her finish answering, and then we'll let the real Dana respond.
Because I was also going to say, in every relationship, there's 100% effort put on both parts. Sometimes your spouse or your partner, if you're a woman, will be having a feminine energy moment where he's in touch with his inner emotions. Sometimes you will have to have a masculine moment where you have to be a protector and be in your masculine energy. And that's okay. Why do people need to define a whole group on something that is so individual? And I'm done.
See, I think she did bring up a good point. I'm sorry, I just want to say this really quick because this is about our topic. When we talk about toxic femininity, I think that basically, the point that she made, it is kind of like there is a femininity shaming that goes on in this space that we hear all too often, where women are being shamed because other women or men are saying that they're not exuding enough femininity, and I think that that's pretty despicable, and it actually, can impact our relationships with one another as women when, you're shaming someone because you feel that, you're the authority on femininity and you're more feminine than the other woman. So I'll say that and shut up. And then we'll let the real Dana answer the question, and then we'll get Jessica X in after that.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, am I feminine? 1000%. I feel as though I was born too damn feminine, but I love being a woman. For me, femininity is love being a woman, love being a girl when you're a young girl, being confident in yourself. I think you grow into your femininity. When I became a mother, I feel as though that's when I was at my peak of being a woman, like to be able to give birth into mother. Now, I have cussed out people because I don't tolerate disrespect. And to me, it's not so much with femininity, how a woman carries herself or, being polite or whatever. It's really about respect. Do you respect yourself? A lot of people do not respect themselves. And me being disrespected. So even when I'm cussing somebody out, that's because you disrespected me. You was out of pocket and I had to put you back in your place. Just like a mother would chastise a child. And I am a mother. But other than that, like, I love being a woman. If you love being a woman, to me, that is the ultimate of femininity. There's no, well, you have to talk this way. You have to talk soft, or you have to do this, do that. That could be like prissy or whatever you want to call it. But that's not, to me, that's not femininity. Femininity is being comfortable in yourself, being yourself. And I was not born. My mother did not give birth to me so that I could be valued by a man. No, you don't put a standard or a measure on my value. That's me. I'm in control of myself. So to me, that's the ultimate femininity.
Thank you, Dana.
Lid, he said, don't come for Jessica X. She's from the land of Deathly Hollows. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sick Lid. And thank you to BMT for putting on his shirt. Thank you.
Listen, boy, listen.
Okay,
my wife, she did her duties.
Shout out to my brother, the Roger Report. He says women can always be feminine, just like men can always be masculine. Femininity has existed for centuries in a lot less civil environments. Well, we weren't in those environments.
Exactly, to talk about whether or not femininity was constant during those times. But thank you, Roger, for the super chat. We wanted to let Jessica X get in on the topic, and then I think we have Melody and Miss J as well.
Jessica got to talk about now.
Okay, so just quickly to touch on what the real Dana said, feminists love being women as well. I don't think loving being a woman makes you feminine, right? Definitely not. And to get on to what Raw B, I'm not sure, I think might say privilege, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I do agree. We all, as a woman, we do have almost a masculine side to us, a masculine energy, but I don't think that's something that necessarily comes, you have to find a balance in between every day, right? The only time as a woman, the reason we have masculine energy, let me just say this, is for protection. And so if we're in a position where we have to fight for our lives, right, that masculine side would come out. If you have children and you need to protect them, that masculine side can come out. But other than that, it's not necessarily something that we need to find a balance in between. It comes out at the necessary point, which is to protect yourself in a hostile environment.
Mm.
Did you just call me a feminist, Jessica X?
It was a sneak diss.
It was because you said, I feel being feminine is, loving being a woman, and feminists love being a woman, but they're
You don't love being
quite
a woman?
masculine. No, but I don't see that as an indicator of femininity.
Okay, so that was your
That's the
opinion, your
difference.
perspective. That's not exactly what it is.
Okay,
It's not an
ladies,
indicator
I'm not a
of
feminist for the
being,
record.
feminine.
For that, I'm not a
let's let
feminist.
everybody-
That's the
I
point
didn't
I'm
call
trying to
you a
make.
feminist. I didn't.
That's why I said, did you call me a feminist?
Yeah, I said no.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's
Okay.
what that was the question when everybody started talking. I didn't hear you.
Okay, Miss
Is
J.
that breast meat?
What?
Miss J, what is your take
can't
on
shame my
the
body,
question,
baby.
as well as what everyone has said, and then we'll have Melody chime in, and I'll chime in last.
I mean, I just think we're confusing manners and politeness with femininity. You can be a man and masculine and still let someone talk, not curse in public, know how to act. That's not a feminine trait. And I think one thing we need to, I can say as a Black woman that because we've seen it in public too many times, to keep a buck, as Black women, we need to work on our manners and politeness. Because I think you can be assertive, you can be nice, and not curse everybody out. That's not necessarily a masculine trait. That's just being rude.
And I want
rudeness is not masculine.
And according to Professor Simon Barron, excuse me, hold on, because my finger had slipped a little bit. I want to read y'all this. According to Simon Baron Cohen, a psychologist at Cambridge University, he believes that we are all on a spectrum between empathizers or systemizers. And systemizers are people who enjoy breaking down and analyzing systems, focusing closely on one task, what I would describe as a very masculine energy. Empathizers, on the other hand, are great at empathizing with others and communicating well, which is the line that I call feminine energy. And men and women both have a portion of this in their mindset. So if you have a man that is highly empathetic, he's feminine. But if you have a woman that's a highly functioning and systemizing things, then she can be considered masculine. And until you learn how to balance those two energies to be empathetic to other people and also analyze systems around you, you don't have a balanced life. You're not happy and it's not going to work out for you. And I think a lot of people on this panel that want to sit there and say what femininity is or isn't are just systemizers. You want to break down and compartmentalize the function of what a thing should be instead of enjoying the life around you.
Right. Great.
That's
point.
true.
Okay. Well, let's let Melody respond first, and then I want to give my response, and then we can kind of dialogue about what everyone has said. Melody?
Melody has left the building.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Okay, I'll go. I think that, yes, I enjoy being feminine. And I think that I am feminine probably 80% of the time. I think that I know that I work in corporate America and it is highly competitive. As a result, in addition, I am in management and I have to often coach men. So I'm definitely not in my most feminine energy when I'm coaching a male, because I've learned that, being assertive and direct with them is generally what works best. I don't think that femininity for most beings is like a constant state, a state where you're constantly, in your feminine energy. I would love if it was like that. I specifically chose the man that I have because with him, it allows me to be in my feminine energy most of the time. I don't have to worry about, my protection or security or things that, I would potentially otherwise have had to worry about if I were not with the person that I chose. I think that ideally, most women enjoy being in their feminine state. I do understand that there is a spectrum. However, I'm most comfortable on the side that is probably closer to my femininity. So the empathizer side. I'm a natural empath, and that is like, that's my comfort zone. I don't like having to be in my masculine energy. Even when I'm on the panel and I'm going back and forth with the male, it's an uncomfortable feeling to me, which is why a lot of the times the chat will give me crap and say things like, oh, watch Yvette, Concrete Rose, she's gonna apologize before the end of the show, because that's not natural for me, and I don't like, having to go there. However, I will if I'm pushed.
Cool.
Excuse me.
Shout out to Gabe A for the super chat. He says, "Get him, Big Jess." LOL. Thank you so much, Gabe.
Gabby.
Well, we'll let the men chime in, because too, we did kind of let the women go and
why
discuss.
these niggas in love with Jessica X? Like, y'all sound gay. Why
It's a
y'all love their
joke.
avatars?
It's a joke, BMT.
I think they sound weak. Like some.
You found a nice little
Well, I
avatar.
do think that Jessica, is popular in the
creepy
space.
as
I think that her if she says, screw off versus a black
They sound like some
woman saying,
avatar, like virgins or some shit.
versus
Get
a
some
black
pussy.
woman saying go
Because
F
she's
off, or
soft-spoken,
an
man.
ADOS
God
woman saying go
damn,
F
boy.
off. It sounds a little sweeter, and it's probably a little easier
Yeah,
to take. In addition,
Is gay to like women now? That's funny.
Wait,
Well,
what is that?
What is gay to like women now? That's funny.
Oh, okay.
Can someone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Go ahead, because I was getting ready to curse somebody's ass out, but I'm not. Go ahead.
Be nice, Danny.
I'm trying.
Let me ask.
Were they disrespectful if they were? You could.
If you
Danny,
curse
just
somebody
cut the
out,
fuck out. Fuck these
that's
fools,
considered
man.
masculine. So
Who cares
Well,
what?
can I?
What? If
You know
they
what?
disrespectful,
I'm
you
gonna
need
be
to platform, cut them
teasing
out.
her.
They like the abuse.
feminine. I'm gonna
I'm
be very
teasing her.
feminine. I'm gonna
But-
be very.
Man, you got a woman, George.
Well, let's
you
let
around your women, man.
Evan-
Talk your shit,
Was
man.
that Evan trying to speak?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Evan.
let's let him get in there.
This is just something when I think about toxic femininity, it's mainly what comes to mind is what's common in female circles is like gossip, because it's basically women evaluating, having an authority on other women, or discouraging them from what we call it, sort of traditionally male interests or occupations. So I mean, if in terms on male circles, if men have a problem with other men, they're pretty much abrupt or face forward about it, whereas
Direct.
more direct, whereas women will just talk, will mainly just talk, have women's methods are mainly to talk behind other people's backs. Or
That's what women do, man. That's what women do.
That's what females do. Yeah.
That's what women do, man. A man was you.
There's a difference between female and a woman, but females do that.
You know, I tell this to a lot of these dudes in the chat. Shit, fuck y'all feelings. Get over it. Go die man or not. Like, niggas still come right back to my channel and talk their shit. Still being in BMT. Why you say that about man? Man, fuck your feelings, dog. Like, move the fuck on. Like, it's just how men should talk. They're like, oh, you can't say that. But women, if I learned this from my sister, women, they do like backdoor warfare where they smile in their face, fuck you, bitch, and then I trusted that bitch. And I'm like, God damn, like, why the fuck you talking to her at work? Oh, some shit. That's what women do, dog. I tell you, men and women, we play by two different programs of how we move. And I mean, I don't think nothing much of it. And I mean, just saying, man, that's just what women do, man. Like, like I don't know why. I don't know why we compare. I don't know why we compare our lives, man.
I agree with that, and I don't understand the comparisons that we draw either. I'm a traditionalist, so I actually believe in roles. So I don't understand when the comparisons are being made as if you want a woman to behave like a man, or you want a man to behave like exhibit the traits that are typically tied to femininity or being a woman.
Mm-hmm. Yo, BMT, that's called frenemies. Women have coined the word frenemy from what they do when they don't like somebody. They fake it all the way through, really hating the person the whole time.
But you know the thing about it, Archer? Let me tell you something that's very interesting about that frenemy thing. and I learned this from my mom. She told me, she said, I'll be cool with that person until I get to the position I need to say fuck them. Now, I'm like, damn, Mom, why'd you do that? She said, nah, it's about power. Play the game. Men used to use their women to get close to the enemy and get everything, all the secrets that they need, and she'll bring it right back to the man. Now, see, but they knew how to weaponize. See, y'all gotta understand, women these days are learning how to weaponize the effeminate traits. Like Jessica, I swear, that girl was a call girl. Y'all niggas would be dropping her so much dimes and shit. Y'all probably pay off her college and her baby daddy's goddamn jail bail funds and shit. But I don't judge y'all niggas. I don't trick all y'all want. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not mad at the game. I get it. There's a starvation because a lot of men are giving out their masculinity to any old broad because all she has is a cute voice, or she wearing some dusty sandals or some shit. You know, they get what do they buy them bags and shit? But see, that's the problem with a lot of these dudes. And the women, they just doing what they can for survival. It's survival. When they find somebody or find a man that is tangible to keep their ass afloat or literally show them a program, that woman's going to follow that program. She's like, oh shit, now I don't have to work as hard to try to keep up with the men. I got a man that can now make the difference. Versus these dudes are trying to take IG bitches and prop them up and make them that damn woman. She ain't trying to be that woman. She's on her 9-to-5 tricking job daily. I'm not hating on the broad because she's doing her job.
That's a good point, BMT.
You know what I'm saying?
People are falling in love with women who are simply, fulfilling a fantasy role, and that's what she's doing. She's the Venus flytrap, bro. I'm watching a lot of these brothers. They say, "Damn, I found the right one. She was on Tinder. She's so nice. She goes and I'm like, dog, man, it's Tinder, bro. She's your fantasy. She's going to make you feel like she's that one. Tinder is a dating site, isn't it?
It might have to call it bootymeat.com because and I ain't hating on y'all, bro. Like, listen, bro.
Well, I mean, as far as it goes with narrowing it down to Black America, I see why a lot of brothers would do that because, like I said to Sister George the other day, there's a very
I'm over here with this shit.
There's a very low supply of beautiful women in our
Don't
community.
do it.
Wow, here you go.
Don't do it.
You know what?
So when a brother finds a good looking one and he's like, oh my God, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, he tries to change the bitch. I don't agree with it, but it
don't do it. You sound like you getting ready to go.
That's subjective.
Y'all stop investing in these hoes, bro.
But I do want to say
you
this very quickly. Also, the other thing that I find interesting regarding women, like regarding the notion that women are constantly in like a feminine state, I never hear people complaining when women are on the front lines either. Like women, like Black women, like I know you guys hate when this is brought up and you want to be dismissive about it. However, whenever something happens to a Black man, Black women are the first to go out there on the front lines. And you're certainly not being feminine if you're out there on the front lines being pepper sprayed and hit with rubber bullets.
Well, that's typically not the way you would actually help Black men neither. Like that's not even what Black men are asking you for.
That is certainly one.
But when Black men do ask,
we need the full Monty in order to ignite change. We need financial backing. We need people to be lobbying. We need protesters. We need it all in order to ignite change.
Exactly. So
let me read
you
this
only
super
being
chat
out
real
there.
quick.
I didn't say that's the only way. Go ahead. Sorry.
I know.
Let me read the super chat real quick. Shout out to Gabe A. He said BMT on that drink. LOL.
That's what happens when you eat some pussy.
Drinking Corona.
Oh, come on, dude.
Hey, this PG-13.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm not Tito 415 for the Cash App. He said, "Glad the queens are speaking. There needs to be order."
Oh Lord,
Shout
y'all
out
calling
to
them
him.
queens.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Y'all calling them queens now. Here we go.
Word queen, please drop
Here we go.
that.
We're going.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. But can I ask a question to the ladies on the panel right quick? And no disrespect. I'm going to be extremely polite because I know I got a reputation. Women deal with conflict, women around the world have dealt with conflict throughout time. And most of the time, the way they've dealt with that conflict has not been through acting masculine. There's been periods in time where the women have lost all of their men due to war or a famine or a multitude of reasons where they ended up where they were by themselves. And the way they survived that situation is not by being masculine, but playing up their femininity. Now, the question I have is, what do you think has gotten? Do you think your results have been better than the women who's through hard times played to their femininity? Do you think you playing to your masculinity in your times of hardness has gotten you better results than those women who play to their femininity in their times?
Well, I think I don't really like that question because basically you're posing that question saying that we are acting masculine. So have we received any type of rewards or results from being masculine as opposed to the women who are feminine? So then you are saying that the women up here are masculine?
No, I'm saying the community is masculine. I guess you got the community.
Are you talking about today's women compared to women's of yesteryear?
No, I'm not even talking about black. I'm talking about women of all over the world. Black women do have a tendency to say, like, we have to be masculine because we were put in this role because our men were subjugated or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Well, let me ask you a question.
That's not a blah, blah, blah. That's an actual fact.
Okay,
let me ask you a question, Archer. Let me ask you a question. Let's just say a woman does get into conflict. Nobody's around to help her, and she's just there by herself. But if she does act a certain way, that does warn a man to back away from her or to get off of her or whatever. I really, it's like you guys kind of have realistic expectations. I feel like femininity and submission from your woman should definitely be required. And if you're not getting that from your own personal woman, then, you know, that's something you probably need to work out. But then I find it interesting because men have gone out to say collectively that y'all aren't protecting anybody but the women in your circle. So expect femininity from them. Leave everybody else.
Well, that's typical black now.
What we said already is there's a way to be feminine in everything that you do. We're not talking about submit. I'm not talking about a random woman needs to be cooking me, you know, bacon and eggs and all that stuff.
Making you a sandwich.
Feminine, right. Shout out.
So you want women to be cordial, just like women to be cordial.
Femininity is not something that you can take on or take off. It's just how you are. That's the point that we're not talking about submission.
But Jay, I'll give you a prime example. I'll give you a prime example. Prior to you really getting up on the panels and talking to us, you used to be a real jerk to me, and I had never done anything masculine to you. You know, I wasn't acting out of character. You were really mean to me for no reason.
What you mean to him back? What you mean? Hold
on, let me address
it. What you mean to him back? What you mean to him?
No, actually, it wasn't.
Exactly.
No.
Not right off. If I was mean to you, it was after repeated attacks because I don't normally respond right off to people who come at me hard.
But not being mean to him have allowed him to now he's more cordial with you because you weren't mean to him versus if you were mean to him.
But
being mean
you know what? But the problem is he shouldn't have been mean to me. He shouldn't have been mean to me in the first place.
But the way you handled the position,
what do you mean it doesn't matter?
The results you got from not being mean back is desired results because now he's up here being respectful.
Desirable by J.I.?
No, by obviously by you because you want him to be nice.
You're saying that you said the results she got more desirable results from who?
For her.
From who? From who?
She's getting respect.
From who? From who? From the men that was on the panel?
Yes, now she's
the same men that was disrespectful.
I haven't heard.
So you want the men who are being disrespectful to women to continue to be disrespectful to women, but the women to back down because that means she's less feminine and she'll get more rewards from the same men who are disrespectful because they're not even man enough to show any type of respect.
It's about.
But wait a minute.
I'm point is this: a lot of you men are not men.
I want him to chime in on this because that's actually a very good point. I don't think Jessica X was actually mean to you first either, but you've come at her and she's considered more feminine than me.
Bail out, fam.
Let me address
because it's a pattern.
You can plead the fifth if you want to.
Nah, in the chat or whatever, if we went back and forth, I've addressed women that have said things that were against either black men in some way or whatever. And like I said, I'm not the Jessica X advocate up here. She knows that. When I brought her up, it was only as an example as to why she's so popular in this space. But no, Sister George, if we went back and forth in the chat or whatever, it was in response to whatever you said about men or whatever. Because I don't care about. Well, no, it's women's chat, all right. But that's what it was about. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't.
but see, let's break that down. Let's break that down. Let's break that down. I can get on a panel and talk and say something that you may not agree with, but me saying something that you don't agree with doesn't warrant disrespect. I recall you being very disrespectful to me, and it was like, damn, I never did anything.
Well, I'm not surprised.
What's wrong? What's the problem?
You said something against. You have to pull up the go back to say
BMT,
why.
why I'm not surprised.
Then I had lashed out in response to what you said or something.
Yeah, but lashing out. See, that's the thing, though. Lashing out wouldn't be considered masculine behavior. Lashing out would technically be feminine behavior.
You know what?
J.I., how many female enemies you got, dog?
I recently was talking to someone in the chat the other day, and he said he used to be like that to me, and I blocked him. And he said that what he was doing is he was red pill raging. So maybe J.I. was experiencing the same thing. A lot of the men in the space have just been like real nasty to women just when they type anything in the chat in some of these content creators' rooms, and maybe that's because they're raging and all women.
You know what? Not the first time I've heard that, Concrete.
Listen. We got a POF account. We can get y'all some hoes for $40 to $60. If y'all need it, I can get y'all this, bro. Just let me know, man.
If we're in the chat, whatever, in the master, whatever, and somebody says something against men, when a man addresses it, they like to play like the woman somehow a victim or something. No, he just addressed what you said that was disrespectful.
If you call me out to address a talking point, if you call me a bitch, hoe, strag, slut, whatever, and you're talking shit to me while addressing something that you disagreed with, you see how I'm disagreeing with something that you said, and I'm kind of calling you out. I haven't called you out of your name. I haven't raised my voice. That's being feminine, and that's conducting a conversation as an adult. Just because you said something I didn't like, I didn't call you a stupid motherfucker and call your mama a bitch because I ain't like what you said. That's and it's like we expect respect from each other, but we're not willing to give that out. And the men don't seem to think that you have to give respect to get it.
No, Archer already said what how you handle it. If you say something against black men, it's out of context because it's not brought up what you said. Whatever you said that made me call you a bitch or whatever I said, I don't even remember. But that's just that's just what it was. If you said something against black men, which a lot of women in these spaces do, they'll say something slick against black men, and then a man will say something slick to them, and then that's just what it is. Just like
I've never heard anything in any of these spaces where a man has said anything to me that warranted me calling him a B and calling him out of his name. Like
I get called all kinds of names. I
laugh. Said about black men that would have been so
Concrete. They think I have feminist ideologies and feminist talking.
You are a feminist.
And even if I did have feminist ideologies and talking points, certain aspects we should be able to have adult conversations. And when we're able to have adult conversations, then we can get to a better understandings and why my pathology would be to have feminist ideologies and or what have you. And then I don't ever speak against black men. I'm an advocate for black men. But are there things that both sexes do that I don't like? Hell yeah, there are things that we both do that I don't like.
Right.
Do I call out both sexes? Yes, I do. So one day, I might be talking shit about men. The next day, I might be talking shit about women. I don't agree with anything everybody says. So, but it's crazy that you get to call me whatever names, and then if I reacted to that, people would call me unfeminine, but they wouldn't say that you were not masculine, because that behavior seems to be a trend in this space. Disrespect the women, call the women out their name, get on board of this. And it's, especially if y'all thinking y'all are going against feminists, y'all really have like this trend going, like curse these bitches out, and it's like, where is that?
Yeah, like drag them, call them strags and hyenas, and talk about like
because they're not men, they don't know what it's like to be a man. They're not
horrible things. Like, why is it okay for you guys to resort to that type of rhetoric?
Let me say something before I go. Pretty much, y'all guys just walk it off. I mean, it's social media. Let the women
Somebody
say what they want to do. If a woman want to be in the house, she'll want to be in the house. Find a woman willing to invest with. Shit, these y'all. I don't know why y'all keep talking to hoes in the street, but that's the ones y'all want. If a woman is over effeminate out there to you, it's a trap. I'm just letting you know right now. If she's being effeminate to everybody, she's either mentally fucked up or there's some kind of baggage that you about to deal with. Now, if it's a woman that's saying, "Hey, we're gonna have to meet somewhere, and you gotta show you gotta show your worth as a man, and she gotta prove her worth as a woman," that's something more tangible because y'all are now on proving grounds of why y'all want to build. And if y'all ain't talking about that kind of shit, that motherfucker ain't serious with you. That you just a nut or a come up. So that's the problem that a lot of people ain't talking about. But like I told my nephew, that female that everybody said ooh to, y'all got to watch out for that, man, because a lot of these people are getting got because they're not wising up to the game.
Chip, you look cute, honey. Is it Chip? Is Scythe?
Yeah, I agree with that.
We got to listen, man. We got to get to work, man. Our BMT Nation need to get.
Hey, no, you know what?
BMT, you about to go, right? Because I'm about to head right behind you.
We got to get to work, man.
Can I just say this before I leave? Can I just say my goodbyes? Thank you, Sister Rose and Sister George and Concrete Rose for having me on your
thank you for coming up
platform. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that I wasn't the only one crazy. I'm glad we were able to talk about what we talked about earlier and hash all that out. So, but I love you guys' energy and I love your platform.
Thank you. Come back anytime. We appreciate it.
I'll come back minus the Dusties, but I'll definitely do that.
Y'all found new friends.
But in closing, I would say this, that I'm so feminine that it's only males that are always beneath me. That's why they always in their bag and they get upset when they hear my voice on YouTube.
Yeah, Dana, what you talking about, girl?
Dana, get out of here.
Right, Dana, what the hell is you talking about?
You are beneath me. Yes, all you males are beneath me.
You gotta chill out, Dana.
Men. Who's that? Zach?
Yeah, you gotta be cool. I
am cool. But all right. Good night, guys. Thank you for having me.
God,
Thank you so much,
again.
Dana. You make sure you come back and holler at us.
All right, I will.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, but Sister George.
Wait. Let me read the super chat real quick. Shout out to Scythe Bud. He says, "I gotta catch this on the playback."
Oh wait, hold on. There's a
Okay.
Everything that I said was in response.
Sister George, give me 1 second. What do you think will give Black women the best results? And as adults, we need to talk about results. Where are you going to get the best results? You're going to get the best results from playing up your femininity, or the best results from playing up your masculinity?
Now, I'm going to be honest. I think that I get much more of what I want when I'm at my most feminine. But I love being at my highest feminine state. I feel like things are easier in my much feminine state. So I would say being feminine does work. I think it's the best shit since sliced bread.
Oh, I agree.
It doesn't work.
I would love, and like I said, I think most women would love to be in their femininity 24/7, or be able to be at their best 24/7. So when I'm at my most feminine, I feel like I'm at my best. So yeah, I think
there's no excuse not to be in your femininity 24/7, or at least as
much as possible. I mean,
stay away from nigga shit. You can be your feminine. But I kind of
chime in real quick.
Why women in westernized societies cannot be in their femininity 100% of the time. We are in a westernized society.
Yeah, but that's not an excuse.
You'll be fine. Listen.
The reasons that we gave.
Actually have to.
The reasons you gave why you're not feminine.
Wait, hold on 1 second.
The reasons why you're not in your femininity?
Yeah, that's me. That was me.
Let her get in really quickly and we'll continue the conversation, Archer.
Yes, I was going to say, I really enjoyed this. I think y'all are super dope. This was a great topic. I can't wait to talk to you again. Hopefully I can have you guys come over to my panel as well on Tuesday. That would be super dope to have.
Absolutely. And you ladies, drop your link in the chat as well.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I do that. Thank you guys again. Even You know, even though we had a bunch of different conflicting opinions today, I think this was an overall good conversation. And I really wish that like men from the manosphere, when you come in these spaces, even though you don't agree with the host and the chats that you're coming into, maybe come in with a little more respect, because that would be masculine. And maybe when we see men behaving in
Oh
a
my
more
God.
masculine energy, then it would be
That's
easier for
right, and it would be
them to behave in their
reciprocated.
feminine.
So you gonna tell man what to be, really?
But you're telling
She's
me
saying be
if
respectful, and it
Why
will be
say that?
reciprocated.
That
You
is some black
disagree?
shit. That is
but
some black
Zach,
woman shit. I'm sorry.
Zach,
That's some
It's
black
literally
woman
That's some
shit.
saying
black
be
energy to
respectful.
try to tell a woman how to be. Sister George,
What's
let me
wrong with
go
her
because I'm
telling
trying
men
to
to
keep
be
you.
respectful?
I'm trying to
it's
keep you in
all
my
good.
feminine energy.
Girl.
I'm telling you,
That's
the only
okay.
way to stay in your
She
feminine energy is to get away from nigga shit.
You
Nigga
she
know
shit
made
what?
makes you lose your
Miss
mind.
J, you got a
Well,
point.
let me thank you so much, Rob B and the real Dana, for coming over and
Absolutely.
participating. This was really a dope discussion. Let me send a shout out to Jack Spade for the super chat. He says a feminine woman will make a man push risk to the side to make her his wife. Shout out to Kurt. Women don't know masculinity. They only
Go
Weak.
to
know
sleep.
sexuality, autonomy, and affirmation. Hashtag Will Smith, hashtag Russell Wilson. And we got
Oh my
Thanks,
another
God.
Jack
one to
Spade.
read. Thank you so much, Jack Spade. And where's the other one? Oh, shout out to the well-to-do engineered. Jerome Whiteside, go promote your bootleg mixtapes elsewhere,
That
fam. No
nigga.
content having ads. LOL. Jerome, you can
Hey
always
Jerome, I'ma
respond
get you,
back
nigga.
with a super chat, but you know, that's what it is. Thank you so much.
Or hit us up at the email if you want to market your mixtape on our channel.
Facts.
Fuck out of here. Anyway, yeah. The point I'm trying to make is, look, I be in these spaces, and I really don't like the fact that men hold back. What's wrong with men really telling you how they really feel? What's wrong with us calling you stupid, dumb bitch? What's wrong with that?
Are you serious?
What's wrong with that?
Is that a
I'm
serious
I, I
question?
ain't, I'm sorry. I'm not trolling. I got respect for everybody. I don't even.
What's wrong
I
with
don't do
calling
that.
us stupid and dumb? There's a
I'm saying
lot
what.
wrong with that. It's extremely disrespectful. And if you don't want the same energy returned, why would you do that?
See, that's not the whole point I'm trying to make. Is this? A lot of men in these spaces, they try to, I don't know, they try to act like they have to agree with y'all. No, you can be yourself and disagree. Like I feel like,
Respectfully, you can.
but I'm saying I feel like whenever a black woman cuts a dude out, that's just more of a reason why I really don't, I don't want to be bothered with it. So yeah, I might meet a chick and I will check you. I will cuss you the hell out. I will call you stupid and dumb bitches and all that. I will. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
This is trolling.
Girl,
Y'all
wait a
know who
minute.
this
Let
man
me just
is. He got
I'm
a
not
picture.
trolling.
let me get off the phone with Curlin because I was gossiping about y'all on the background. Babe, I'll call you right back.
Listen, wait a minute.
Wait, let
What's
me
your
read
name,
this super
Zach?
chat real quick. Shout out to Nick Gurr for the
Yeah.
199 super chat. Thank you so much, Nick Gurr. And shout out
Who's
to
Sister
the
George?
real Dana. She says, I'm curious to see which Dusty Pick Misha will use this show as content for their channel. Please be original and create your own content. XOXO. Peace and love to the ladies.
Thank you,
Thank you, Dana.
Sister George, you have to be careful with that name. The Nick Gurr. It's a play on words.
You know what? I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't realize that either.
It happened to me
I was about to tell him
yesterday.
thank you. Oh my gosh. Zach, I have to ask you though. You're coming up here asking a group of women. Now we've had dissenting opinions on this panel all afternoon. However, no one has gotten disrespectful and calling people out of their name and whatnot. But you're asking us what's wrong with calling women stupid and stupid bees and ignorant and dummies. And I don't know what type of response you expect from that. However, you said that you approach women and you do that. I truly believe that there's only a certain caliber of women that you can do that with, and they're going to actually, show interest in you. That's extremely disrespectful to approach women with vulgar language out of nowhere without you're from your language.
Is he being mode one?
I don't know.
Yo, this panel has been very disrespectful.
What warrants that?
Listen.
Disrespectful, Archer.
Listen, I respect women. Let me be clear. I respect women. I don't just come off and try to, disrespect women and say, fuck you and all that. But I'm saying in my real life, I don't play with women. I don't know what dudes
So
do having
you approach a
conversations.
woman just for no reason, cursing them out and calling them out their name and disrespecting them?
Look, let me tell you the reason why a lot of black women can't stand my guts. Let me tell you.
You have to be adding me to the list.
Because
Go ahead.
I'm the type of guy that'll meet I'm the type of guy, if I was talking to a black woman, the first thing I'm gonna ask her is, pretty much, is her hair real? That's the first thing I'm gonna say. The second thing I'm gonna ask, give me the last book you read, the author and everything.
Okay.
So they have a problem with that because what they want is some guy to really spit game and all this other bullshit that means nothing. But to be honest, is your hair real? Can you read?
So,
Are you smart?
to
Are you
me,
intelligent? I don't give a fuck
I don't
what you
personally
snapping your
find
neck
those
and
questions
you cussing
offensive,
somebody
but
out
that's
and
different than calling
okay.
someone stupid and dumb and okay, those are
Yeah.
fair questions if you're trying to get to know somebody.
But you're okay. You're mad at them calling him calling stupid dumb, but yet
He said
routinely
stupid, dumb, bitchs.
Okay, that's fair. But routinely up here on these type of panels, and it's become so normalized in the black community to disrespect black men that you guys have been up here calling men dusties. You've been up here calling men saying they're not men, they're not in their manhood. Black men are disrespected on a routine basis, but it's so common that it's overlooked. Where you
Archer,
can say
that's
you haven't been disrespectful to men on the panel.
Archer, that's not true, and that's not a typical thing that you see on our panel.
I know,
we do
but I'm
believe
just
in
saying
allowing
in
adults.
Baby, they'll come over here
We
and
do
lie on us.
understand that there are going to be dissenting opinions. We do believe in allowing adults the freedom of speech. However, men come up here and say all type of horrible things about black women all the time. This is a black woman-led panel, and there has not been one show that we've conducted where black women weren't talked horribly about. I mean, come on.
But I'm not saying men aren't doing it. What I'm saying is that don't act as if it's a one-way street. This is a two-way street. And on this street, there's passing
Actually,
lanes,
no. Actually, if you wanna be serious, concrete. Because let's be serious. If you're really trying to sit up here and quantify this shit, the men have come on our panels and have been way more disrespectful than the women that have come on our panels. But now, when the women come on our panels and get disrespectful, the men will send us emails and cry about it for 2 fucking hours. And we gotta, don't say that, girl. Don't do this. And then they get mad when you be nice to the women, even when you're telling a woman, like, chill out. You're supposed to go off on her like she's some kind of bitch on the street.
The thing is, if it's getting out of hand, we will say something. But like, if somebody we're not trying to catch every dig. Y'all adults, y'all grown. We're not pacifying grown adults over here.
I mean,
every little single thing that said we're supposed to catch it and check it, and I mean, we wouldn't be able to have a show because we're gonna be stopping every 5 minutes.
You would catch hyena,
but have
you're
it
not
ever
gonna catch Dusty.
but have it ever occurred? But have it ever occurred to women that black men been tired of this shit for years? It's no more playing with black women. Guess what? Black men will really check you. We don't give a fuck where you work, what you got. That don't mean shit. That do not mean shit. And a lot of women think that, I'm a woman, I'll be respectful. Fuck that. I don't know you. I ain't grow up with you. Fuck
Listen,
that.
I do think that respect is a two-way street. I believe that. I believe that respect should be given, from both sides. So I don't use that. That to me, what you just said, especially when a woman thinks that she can speak disrespectfully about a man and he's not supposed to respond in kind, that is weaponizing your femininity. That is toxic femininity, which is what the title is about. But I'm saying if someone's behavior doesn't warrant them being called out of their name and stuff like that, like that's absolutely egregious. And I mean, I don't know what type of women would be accepting of that.
I mean, you see that a lot in the black community, especially when
Concrete, read the super chat.
Eggman on.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Mr. Normus. He said, "Sorry, y'all, LOL." I'm not about to deal. I'm about to go. We did want to let Art in. I wanted to let Archer finish his point, and then we'll let Art New Style in as well.
No, I was just gonna say that I'm not saying your panel is where this only happens, but black women in general have this way of disrespecting men that's subtle. It's subtle and it goes overlooked. And
we talked about passive aggressive, toxic femininity.
Because the words we might use are very overt and very open, like BICTH. But like, and even when we create passive words like strag or hyena, it gets taken to
Those
heart.
are not passive, but go ahead.
But how is Strag less passive than Dusty? I mean, more.
I didn't say Dusty was
But that's
passive.
what I'm saying. But you're sitting up. We had some lady on the panel that was just throwing out the word Dusty like it was a dime word. Like she had 1,000 of them to throw.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't say
What
that
was
it
she
was
referring
passive,
to, Dusty? Who was she referring to as
when
Dusty?
she said, right.
She was returning the energy that old little big Nate gave.
Nah,
Just
Lil Big
Because she
Nate
before
was
she
thinks
just
got
she's
off
telling
the
better.
the
I
panel,
keep
truth.
when she
telling black
said that
men
she would
Lil
come
Big
back
Nate was just telling the
minus the
truth.
Dusties. I mean, like
because
people.
she thinks she better. That's
she
why.
means minus the guys, not minus the word, because she's
All
still going
kinds
to
of
use the
stuff.
word.
I
So
don't think she meant. I don't think that was directed to all the men
I'm
on the
saying
panel. She
everything on the
but
panel
people,
was fine
people
until
look,
did
someone
throw.
came up there
Yes,
look,
being
and
I don't
disrespectful and
mind
he
the
got
word
energy
about
returned.
I don't
You didn't.
mind black women using derogatory words towards black men. You guys, it's gonna happen regardless. But what I'm saying is that don't act as if it doesn't happen, as if everything up here is just all gold.
We didn't
shine
say
and
that, but
fucking-
our panel does not we don't tolerate just like blatant disrespect of one another. Yes, we allow adults to throw digs because it's gonna be done, and we don't want to police the language of all the entire show because we won't have a productive show if we do that. So we're not
And
trying
to
to
be
catch
honest
every
with
little
y'all,
thing.
I actually like to see a good sparring myself. So I don't do shit but turn off this mute my mic and I be back here dying laughing. So I'm not really
really, Danny. Really?
I mean, I'm not the one that's gonna stop it too much. I'm not really good at conflict like that. Like
So
I'm
you
good
know
at
what
my
that
own
mean, though?
conflict, but
You know what that mean, Sister George?
I'm not good at that.
You know what that mean, though, Sister George? That mean you like dysfunction. That's black shit.
You know
That's
what?
black folk shit.
You know
Now
what?
he's
So,
psychoanalyzing
you know
you.
what? Actually, to a bit, yeah, I do. To a bit, because it's not my own.
Thank you. Well, at least you honest.
So, let me finish, sir. Personally, it's not my own dysfunction, and so I'm able to learn from everybody else's dysfunction without mine always being on display. Because sometimes my dysfunction is on display as well. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't claim to be perfect.
I'm saying when the guys come up here,
well, I mean,
what I'm saying when the panels are all going fine and the guys come up here throwing their shots, are there men in the chat? Are these same men who are complaining about the women complaining about the men when they do that?
No.
When everything was going good, no one was calling no names. We were all agreeing on stuff, and then someone came in and completely derailed it. Were the same people? I'm just saying, were the same people on the chat? Were the same people on the panel complaining about that?
You're trying
Or were
Every
you egging
man
it
is not
on?
gonna kiss women ass.
No,
Voice or whatever.
exactly. You were egging it on.
but
You're
you guys
fine.
are taking
You're fine when they throw the shots. So
what's
be
wrong
fine
with
when you get thrown
having-
it back at them.
But what's
No,
wrong
I'm not
with having
saying-
common
Okay, look.
courtesy and respect for one another? You don't have to kiss nobody's ass to be cordial, and that's a huge problem in this space because
But see,
we can't.
Okay,
get
look,
people
look at
without
this.
calling
My
each
name.
other out.
let Sister George finish.
It's a lot of women. It's a lot of that always go hard because when Dana made fun of my voice or whatever, said I sounded feminine or whatever, it was a bunch of them laughing, cheering her on, and whatever. So a lot of niggas do. To Miss J's point, niggas do be sticking up for bitches for women in the sector.
Right. Hey, say it, man.
No,
Ain't
I'm
nothing
saying
wrong.
the
I'm
same
just
people
playing.
have the complaint.
I'm just playing, y'all.
Were the
I'm just
same people who had the
They found
complaint.
it funny. That's
Were
not
you
sticking up
complaining
for
then?
her.
It's all kinds of cucks in the chat all the time that are taking up black women's whatever.
I said, were the same people who have the complaints now? Did you have those complaints when they came up on the panel and completely derailed the conversation, throwing shots? Did you have a problem with that, or were you okay with it?
Nobody cares when you guys.
Okay, then don't care now. Why are you caring now?
Let me finish.
Listen.
Nobody cares.
Hold on,
let's
really quick.
Don't
Let me
care on
read
either
the super
side.
chat. We have a super chat from Mr. Alum saying, "Back to my regular name, y'all." Okay.
You got Art in here. Let Art get in there.
Yeah, I wanted to hear from Art. Art, what do you have to say about the topic? I know we've been all over the place, but what do you have to add, brother?
I'm still watching y'all like National Geographics. This is the reason why I did that panel on Thursday. Is we really haven't found our way of having just a conversation where there's shots not being thrown or chairs. I look at, because we're getting into that conversation of masculine and feminine energy, or just being masculine and being feminine, where you got different archetypes of those categories. Some are feminine. So some are feminine warriors, some are pure feminine, some are mother. You can't just try to pick just one and say all of it should be like that. It's based on what matches your energy. So if you're able to call that out and find out that it fits in your world, then you shouldn't be having the complaints. But right now, everybody wants the same thing, but not knowing if they can handle it or not. That's one. The other part too is that I'm looking at how the communication, because as you can see, I'm a communicator. I'm a brain picker. And the thing that we don't really do enough of is conducting conversation like men and women dancing. One leads, one follows. One has to understand, one has to submit for the dip while the other one has to support the dip. One has to avoid stepping on each other's toes so you can flow. If you can have a flowing conversation, even if there's some disagreements, there still could be a possibility of productiveness afterwards. So we have to get down to the root.
Good point.
Somebody just timed me out.
But we have to get down to, hello.
Didn't like what I was. So
we have
it's
to.
all kinds.
Who is that? We need you to mute whoever that is. I think it was Zach.
Yeah, we have to get down to the root of this, because I remember, my ex-wife, very quiet person, at the beginning, but when it was time for her to fight and get down, she had all kinds of things to say. So, that's where I was like, I can't take this. The thing is, what is going to be driving your energy? The energy, is your energy driven based on you wanting to fight or wanting to solve things? If you just want to fight and if that's your energy, then won't you put it in the right direction? Won't you hold the bull's horns in the right direction for the sake of your people? Even though people come in these spaces saying, well, I ain't about black people. Hell, you're in a black space. So eventually you're going to have to, I'm just saying, everybody's in this space and in the chat, your time is valuable. Why don't you show it and won't you utilize it? And then last thing, you're going to get criticism no matter what. Okay, if you are positive, if you are negative, I get criticism all the time, but they sit on panels with me and he and ha ha with me. So what? You know what I'm saying? The key thing is, did you bring your message out there, and then were you able to make sure that everyone else was learning from it and being productive? So I'm trying. I'm still going to try. But we got to have some positive images between black men and black women. So
but
I'm good.
But what, Art? Art, though? I want to see, my thing is, what I try to bring in the space when I get on panels is, I want to try to separate the men in this space, because there's two type of men. You got men in this space who really agree with women and kissing their ass and yeah, sympathetic and all this other shit. Then you got the other dude who's opposite of that. What side are you on? Period.
Well,
a lot of niggas too nice. We already know what this shit is about. We all black. We know the community.
But why do we have to be at war with one another?
We're not at war. You have to draw a line in the sand and pick a side. It's no more this ignorant I'm black shit. Because I'm gonna keep it real.
I would say this to you, fam.
That's why the black
that sounds like growth. So there's always a need to, because things you're going to say today, you're not going to say the same thing next year.
Right.
Or it's not going to be at the same degree. So
that's true.
You got to give yourself a chance to absorb what's best for you, and then that's what's productive for you. Because if you putting all this energy in there and you still don't have no money in your pocket, you still don't have a place of your own of anything like that, then you have to look back and say, damn, I wasted all my time doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but what if you pass that though? What if you pass that? What
it never stops, fam. It never stops. It's always ongoing.
Really quick, Art, to something that you just said triggered something for me. We often get questions. I know Complex is one of the people, and we've gotten some questions from other people who ask, why we don't have more solution-based conversations. I think that most of the people that come into this space are so hell-bent on sticking to their agenda that their ears aren't even open to hearing what the other person has to say. We
They're
are
not
not
ready.
communicating effectively on these panels. Like, we are literally just yelling over one another to get our points across. I pride myself on trying to be objective. I almost always learn something from the panels. I'm objective typically, unless it comes to bending, regarding my own moral stance on something. But I find that most of the people in these conversations aren't really trying to hear what the other side is saying if they have a dissenting view. They are simply, making sure that they get their points across. And
Believe
that's
it or
it.
not, Concrete, they do
Mm-hmm.
hear. They do listen. I just think that they're not able to express it the way the way that it will fit into the spaces right now. But I think they are listening. I think it's just a matter of them putting all the pieces together in order for them to make sense with the other people that they want to engage with. It's just, it's a time thing. It's a timing. Some people are a little bit advanced, and some people need a little bit more time to put
Right.
all this stuff together. But
Yeah,
me and plus,
you
I'm a
might be right
teacher, so
about
I
that. And
try to I
I've
show
heard
patience.
people actually admit in the chat, like, regarding their own evolution. To me, I think that it is extremely manly and masculine for a guy to admit his faults and say, like I said, I talked earlier about a guy who said, okay, during the time that I first came across Concrete, I was red pill raging, and any woman that came into the space, I would curse them out. So to say that you've evolved past that and you've grown, you know what I mean? Even if it was just a phase, that's very big of you. So if, for any person to say that, I can't think of who it was. It's somebody that I have blocked, and was it Raphael? I think it's Raphael. I have him blocked, and he was saying that I have him blocked because our first interaction was negative. But that's just really big of you. So any person who can admit that, oh yeah, I've grown, and now I'm able to see things differently because of something I learned, like, that takes a real man to do that.
Hey, let me step in here real quick. Let me step in here real quick and do my
y'all.
1-2.
I'm about to leave, but I just wanted to come and get my own 2 cents, and
thank you.
Hopefully we'll get where we need to go, but we still got some work to do, y'all. All right, y'all take care. Thanks,
thank you.
thanks, sisters, for
And then we'll
support.
let Benjamin get in.
Thank you so much.
No
All right,
problem.
let me do my 1-2 real quick. I would like to speak to the toxic femininity component and whatnot. Fellas, this is just me personally. Unless it's someone, unless it's someone that I personally know, I treat every interaction as if it's strictly business. In business, you don't want to come off too pompous. You don't want to come off too abrasive, but you also don't want to come off as too timid and too meek and give yourself an air of being a pushover. It's business. It's all business. So when I come across ladies in this chat or in these spaces and whatnot, I don't get wantonly disrespectful unless they get wantonly disrespectful with me. And to be honest with you, if we can all just be honest, women are like children.
Yep.
How many times have you had a little cousin or a little nephew that'll just say some off the wall shit and you get upset and you like, man, I can yoke this motherfucker up. But then you think, man, he's just 7 or 8 years old. So you got to kind of let things wash over. Because I forgot who it was that said it earlier, but he said one of the traits of a toxic feminine woman is that they will always take little digs and little snipes at you for whatever reason. It could be warranted. It could be unwarranted. I mean, I come across females in the service industry all the time, and I come in straight face. I'm not mugging. I'm not smiling. How much is it? Okay, all right. And they got to take little digs and snipes. Now, it's up to you on how you react to it, because if you give a, an abrasive reaction to her bad behavior, you in a sense are rewarding her behavior. But if you just sit back, kind of smirk it off, or act like you didn't even hear it or see it and go on about your day, she's not getting fulfilled with that combative energy that she needs. Because another trait in toxic femininity is that a lot of these women just want to go to war. They just want to fight just to fight. Shout out to Obsidian. So,
but it's a problem with that, Benjamin.
Hold on,
It's
Zach,
a problem
I'm about to
with that,
wrap it up. I'm about to wrap it up, Zach. I'm about to wrap it up.
Oh, shit, my bad, bro.
So what we can do as men, keeping a business and a strategic mindset, is identifying women who exhibit these traits and then just extricating them out of your life as much as possible. That's all.
Yeah, but you forgot one thing though. These
What's
women
that?
have the ability to change their mind, bro. Even if she was this feminine, submissive woman, even if she was loyal, years later she'll do some other shit. They change their mind, so men have to think past them. We cannot negotiate with women at this point. At this point, black men got to be strategic, bro, and really be a thinker with this shit. Which side are you on? Are you gonna be a leader or not?
I didn't say anything about negotiating with the women. I came on
Wait a
here
minute.
to speak
Are
to
you
the
saying
brothers.
he's rewarding her for bad behavior?
I came on here to speak to the brothers and just give my 2 cents and to lay some game down on the brothers. That's it. I'm not negotiating with none of these women on this panel. I'm not saying, well, you acting like this, so you should.
I don't think he was talking about us specifically on the panel.
Right,
We're not negotiating.
Yeah, I'm
we're,
not negotiating with
not
anyone.
No, I wasn't saying it like that. I'm saying black men mentality. They have a mentality to really try to reason with black women. And so what are you thinking? Fuck that. You wear the pants, you step up, and she gonna follow your lead. Now that requires a black man checking you and cussing you the fuck out, whether you like it or not.
I mean, if that's your style,
that doesn't require that. To be completely honest,
So
like
to get a woman
I
to do what you say, you have to be verbally and mentally abusive to her.
No, I disagree with
Zach,
that because my
No, not at all. I'm not saying abuser.
I know, but I was responding.
If you cussing
to
her
it.
out,
well, she had words,
fiance
right?
is militant, and he doesn't have to do any of that. Like really and truly, his presence, like he commands respect with the strength that he embodies with his presence when he walks in a room. You shouldn't have to curse a woman out and get verbally abusive in order to command respect from her.
But see, this is the thing, Concrete.
Can I step in real quick? With.
Can I
but see, this is the thing, Concrete.
Zach,
most of these women would
respond to what you said.
Oh, never
Zach,
mind.
Let me respond to what you said just real quick. Okay, now which is healthier? Let's say you're in a relationship with a female, right? She cheats on you. You opt to A, just break it off once you find out that she's cheating on you, or B, you say, I'm gonna stay with you, but bitch, I owe you one, and I'm gonna cheat on you. Which one is healthier, A or B?
Good analogy.
Hold on, what you said again? I couldn't hear that last part because my phone fucked up, bro.
Okay, A, you with a gal, right?
Okay.
She cheats on you, so you break it off. Or B, that same gal cheats on you, and you say, I owe you one, bitch, I'm gonna get you back. Which one is healthier?
Oh yeah, A, no doubt.
Okay, so with that said, that
why you sound like you a do B though?
Zach, are you young? Are you?
I'm 29.
I'm
29.
Okay. Zach. That same logic applies. That same logic applies to when you're having a verbal interaction with a female. Now we're supposed to be the leaders. Now I'm not against brothers who want to just fly off the handle and curse a bitch out. If that's how you get down, that's how you get down.
Why wouldn't you be against them? They're a reflection of you as a black man.
Yep.
I mean, that's every man's journey. I can't walk in another man's shoes. You know, another man can't eat my food. So if that's how he get down, that's how he get down. If that's
not how I get down. The point is, Benjamin, black women have accept lesser than that. They will tell a nigga he disrespectful for verbally talking, but they done been with niggas who beat him. They done been with niggas who live off him. They done been with niggas who spent their money, fucked them over, been to jail, all that. They would never say that. What they try to do is they try to play black man and make you think you should be a certain way just because they perceive you to be this quote unquote type of guy that's supposed to be respectful. When really in reality, as a man is gonna survive regardless. We are not like women. They have a pussy to survive. This is why they in survival mode. A man gonna thrive regardless. Period.
But in today's society,
let me hop
so
in
will
there
a
real
woman.
quick.
She's gonna thrive regardless. Go ahead, bro, Curly.
Yeah. What I was gonna say to Zach is, if she displays all of that stuff to you, bro, you can leave her where she stands. You're not obligated to deal. You know what I'm saying? And you can exit stage left without calling her the bees and the sluts and all this other kind of stuff, and leave her wondering, well, damn, why the fuck did he walk off with me? In my opinion, if enough of us do that, it'll change the way that some of these women react to us. That's just my take.
It's too late. Black men invested too much in black women. They have
No, man,
went
I wouldn't walk.
unchecked for years, bro.
Zach, you're a baby. How much have you invested in black women that you feel like you haven't received a return on your investment? You're still young. Like it's kind of surprising to come
Wow.
across someone as young as you with, such a harsh stance and with the commentary that you have. It's kind of like, dang, like it's surprising.
Get out of there,
Zach.
Concrete. Shout out to Bro
No, I'm
Roger
serious.
Report. He says Benjamin made great points. Men must remember that women like attention. A lot of them do things to get negative attention because they don't want to do what it takes to get positive attention. Thank
And
you
they're not good people. And they're not
They're
good
not
people.
good people.
Gotta throw that in there.
But if black women tolerate that kind of behavior, don't you deserve it?
What now?
I don't think
That's
so,
the
because I
thing
don't
to
think
me,
anybody
Miss
deserves to be treated
J,
poorly.
because they're not accountable for the behaviors that they accept. If you're dealing with a woman that's not with your program or is
No, I'm not talking about the men. I'm talking about the
I don't
women. If
think
someone
anyone
goes up there and
deserves
talks
to
to
be
you that way,
abused. No
I'm
one
just saying if
deserves to be
someone,
abused.
but I'm
does
saying
if
if
she
someone
says,
goes up there and talks to you that kind of way, and you just sit there and just take it, do you think that behavior that they treated you with is gonna change? Isn't it just better just to walk away? Why
that's what
would you
she
tolerate
deserves.
it?
If she
Zach.
stays there, that's what she deserves.
I'm just
Yo,
saying
Zach.
you're saying
See,
to
I don't
someone,
think
I
anyone
deserve to be treated
deserves
this
to
way,
be treated poorly.
but you're
Even
telling
men,
that
like
person
I
you
know we
deserve
say,
it.
right, I understand what
If
you're
she
saying.
sits there and
But
takes
even
it,
That's
the
she
what I'm
men
deserves
in
saying.
it.
this
Then
space,
simply
like
the
who
best
have
way to
had
go ahead
horrible
and
experiences
deal
with
with that
women,
is
I
to
don't
not
think
deal
that.
with it. If someone walks up to you and says, "Is your hair real? What's the last book you read?" Why are you tolerating?
So
Walk
that
away.
same
if you
logic,
don't
Miss
like
J,
that,
could
hold
be
on,
applied
whoa.
to could
Yeah,
be
don't
applied
just
to
Hold
just
on,
Zach.
you
walk
don't
away
like
from
that?
it. You
Miss
don't
That
have
is
to
Miss
deal
J,
black
with it.
shit. That is black woman
Miss
shit. Stop
J,
having your head fake, then.
that
Stop
same
doing that.
logic
That
could
shit
be
is
applied to
stupid.
Zach
Somebody got to
regarding
say it.
him dealing with a woman who's behaving
But I'm
horribly
just
Y'all
saying
because
I'm
think
he
not.
black
has to
men are so
verbally
weak and
abuse.
What I'm
scary.
saying, but
Y'all
me
think black
personally,
men
I'm
are
Wait a
not
so
all that
minute.
stupid.
concerned with the Zacks of the world. He exists. I walk away.
I'm just
That's it.
saying. That's the problem. Black men have been conditioned to really tolerate this shit. Nobody want to say it. Damn, ask the niggas in the chat. Y'all know y'all want to say it, nigga. Grow a pair of nuts and speak. Come on, bro. Talk truth, bro.
Oh
Y'all
my
know
One,
y'all want
gosh.
to call black
You
women
can talk your
fake
truth all you
eyelashes,
want to,
fake
but I'm just
all that
saying
shit. You know we want to
in the
say it.
real
Black
You know
world,
men
we
do say
I'm
want to
that.
just saying
say
Black
in
it.
the
men
real
say
world,
that.
you can just
Okay,
walk
then.
away from it.
So
You
you
don't
shouldn't
have
be
to
offended
tolerate
by it.
that kind of
I'm not
stuff.
offended by it personally.
I've
one
said it
last
Thank
all the
you.
thing.
That's
time.
all
I'm
I'm
One
saying if
saying.
last
someone
thing.
walked
That's
up
the
to me and
maturity
said that,
in you,
I'd
One
walk
C-Roll.
last
away.
thing before I get
I
off.
wouldn't even deal
One
with it. Just walk away. It's not something that's gonna
last
turn out well for you. So
thing
why bother?
before I get off, if I could, please. Thank you. One instant of toxic femininity that I witnessed on this panel was what's that chick's name from New York? Dana.
Dana, New
Dana.
Jersey.
When she said that all you men are beneath me, that
Yep.
is toxic femininity in spades right there. That is the personification of the mother goddess complex. That right there. That extreme sense of narcissism right there. So you
Okay,
fellas know what to
and
do.
but this is the thing. I don't think Dana has a problem with getting men whatsoever. Period. Point blank.
I didn't
And
say she
so,
did.
but so what I'm saying to you is, if you guys sit there and you say a certain type of behavior is bad, but yet you continue to deal with it, and I really think she
I'm
was
not dealing with
joking.
that type of behavior at
Well,
all.
Yeah, I
if
thought she was
She
playing, to
was
be
also
completely honest,
joking.
and that's
I
why
thought
That's why
She
I
was
Well,
told her she
she
laughed
can't talk
joking.
like that.
hold
when
on,
she
hold
said
on,
it.
hold on,
However, if she
hold on,
wasn't,
hold on.
if
Concrete
she
go
Rose,
ahead.
wasn't
Sister
joking,
George,
then
Sister George, hold on. In the Bible, it says a lot of truth is said in just. A
yeah,
lot of
that's
people,
true.
a lot of people say what they really mean, and they hide it in
Well,
a
Yeah,
joke.
but we
well,
don't
that's a
know. She's not here
conversation to
to
have
defend
with
that.
Dana. However, so
Okay,
I won't go back and forth
And she
defending
did
whether or
say
not she meant
males.
it or she
She
didn't.
okay,
specifically said males and not men. And
okay.
so would that
Be
make
that as it may,
Oh,
be that as it
okay,
may, be that as it may.
go ahead.
She trying to reduce all the men. She's trying to reduce all the
she said
males down
males?
to males. She's trying to reduce all the males down to
Well, I
males,
think what she
and
was,
then blanket it with
if she
y'all
was
niggas is beneath me.
serious, I don't
Benjamin,
think
you
her
know black
comment was
women
any
think they
more
better than
triggering
us.
than Lil Big
That's
Nate.
true.
I don't think that I'm better than black
Hold on.
men. I think that first
Let
of
me
all,
let me ask you two a question
unfair for you
before I
all
leave.
to, when one person on the panel says something, for you all to attribute it to all black women or all the women on the panel. Like, that's completely
Child.
unfair.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you two this question before I leave.
Wait.
Last question,
Before
then
you
I'm out.
ask that question, let me read out the super chat. Shout out to Caramelized Sugar. She says, "C Rose, plenty of Zacks on Black YouTube and younger." And shout out
Wow.
to UTV for the Cash App. She says, for doubling down with art. Great job, women. Thank you so much. Just be you.
Thanks, y'all.
CG and SG and CR. Was that statement that Dana made, would that be seen as toxic femininity? Yes or no? That's a yes or no question.
No, that wouldn't be seen as toxic femininity.
Really?
Because I have a different definition of toxic femininity. And what toxic femininity to me is when you're dealing with women and women are trying to push their femininity off on you and say that you should behave in a certain way, or say that you shouldn't do a certain thing because they're trying to boost themselves up. To me, that's what toxic femininity is.
Okay, so
Okay, let me
narcissism.
answer.
So
I didn't get to answer the
narcissism
question. Hold on,
isn't
Benjamin,
toxic
before you
femininity.
respond.
No,
I didn't get to
narcissism is
answer.
narcissism.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
You asked, was it toxic femininity? So
Yes.
I researched this topic before we did it, and the word is found in Urban Dictionary, but that would not fit the
Urban
definition.
Dictionary.
However, if she said, like when she gave the example of people like males being dusty, if someone would have came back at her, a man would have came back at her and attacking her, and she would have said, "Oh, why are you attacking me? I'm a woman." That would be an example of toxic femininity.
Okay, so you agree with Sister George that narcissism isn't a toxic femininity trait? Is that what you're saying?
Not the actual definition, and not that I found
Narcissism
from
isn't a
my,
male or a feminine trait.
from my research.
Exactly. So why are you
Narcissism is not a male or feminine trait.
Yes, but if you're exhibiting narcissism in a feminine manner, then it would be described as toxic femininity.
No, it would be narcissism.
Yes, it would.
Narcissism is
You have the
narcissism.
right to consider it toxic femininity if you, but I don't understand where the femininity is even coming into play. It's just where I'm confused by it.
Because
She
she
made a
talking
comment,
soft,
but how
talking
does
about
that
some all
tie
these.
into?
She was talking all soft and shit, like, oh, all these men beneath me and all this other dumb shit. Like, come on, bro.
Hold on.
Let's be real. You're a woman. You're not gonna do nothing to be a woman.
You came up here and said you need to be cursing black women out. I mean,
and right before she made that, and right before she made that statement, she clearly said, "I love being a woman. I'm ultra feminine, and all you males are beneath me."
Okay, and Roger says that black women are horrible people. I mean, that's what trolls do. She's trolling.
No, Miss J, he says black women aren't good people. And Roger is very, very specific with how you do his words, because he will pull up on us and be like, I didn't say that.
He don't have
to. The end of the,
but
I'm just saying, people say trolling statements all the time. Right. Everybody on the panel does have to take responsibility because one person said it. I mean, let's be real. She was trolling. She was joking.
I agree.
She was trying to get you upset. And she left.
Yeah, it was kind of like a last dig before she left.
Exactly. So it's not something everybody else is responsible for an hour later when we didn't say that.
Yeah. Well, let me say this real quick before I get back to business. People say all kind of shit about me, and it doesn't apply because they're trying to impose and project whatever they have in their mind onto myself and Danielle. So if it doesn't fit you, why take offense to it?
Thank you.
I mean, that's not to say that it's healthy for somebody else to be doing that type of shit, but at the same time, like, what do you get out of it by putting so much energy into the negativity? You know what I'm saying? That's the only question I got for you guys.
Babe,
that is a valid point.
What the hell is that? That is
this whole stream was derailed into something completely different because someone said something. So that's a valid point.
Miss J always the voice of reason.
I don't see how.
I'm just saying we were going good and we took a left.
Right.
Really?
The don't apply, let it fly thing is cool. There's some validity to it. But if somebody says something to me, I call her a dumb bitch. I mean, it doesn't make you less of a man because I called her a dumb bitch. That's how I chose to
So how
respond
does
to
it
it.
make her less of a woman if she says that men are beneath
Because she's
her?
stepping
Like,
out.
how can it?
You're falling for it again, though.
Well,
Wait, how does it make her less of a
if
what?
it doesn't make you if it
this is-
doesn't make you less of a man, how does it make you more of a man?
Oh,
But the fact that she can say that, the fact her as a black woman can just speak like that without no consequences, just show you what they think about black men. We all know that.
But what
okay,
consequences do you suffer
so
when you call black women B's and H's like you said without that you do now? What consequences do you
I'm
suffer
just
when you
saying
do
nothing.
that?
You can kick my ass, nothing.
No,
Damn, you raised me.
No,
I'm
but
just
people
saying.
like you don't know if her husband can.
What
here's
husband?
another.
If you had a husband, he would have been informed her not to even carry herself like that.
Well, here's another question for everybody. So if we are red pill and we understand that certain people, I would say, well, hell, sex is a binary. If you understand that men are going to behave like men and women are going to behave like women, and then you layer on all the societal bullshit on top of it, at some point you kind of expect certain behaviors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the reality of a lot of what we have to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
That
by you're right, by reacting to what they will expect you to do, isn't that kind of giving them your power in a sense?
No, brother.
men
See
can
what
still
it is.
react how it wants, but
Oh,
sometimes not to play into it. Sometimes it depending on how you feel. But if a man
Yeah, on some
decides,
choose your battle shit. I got you right.
yeah, but if a man decides to respond, here's the difference. To see Rose's point, like when Dana said my voice was feminine to her or whatever, I could have blown up or whatever, but I don't care about none of that shit. So, but what Zach is saying is, if he cuts the woman out or whatever, men understand that our consequences, whatever we do, we understand that we hold our life in our hands. So if she calls somebody and a man comes to come see about me, we're gonna have to shoot it out or whatever. We understand where it can go, and we're prepared to take it there as men. We're grown up understanding that. If we say something,
That doesn't sound very manly. That you are going to use because you're a man and you understand the consequences. That you're going to verbally abuse a woman who did nothing to ask for it,
That's not
knowing
what
that it could result in your death.
That's not.
I'm
what
not gonna verbally attack her. I'm not gonna do that.
My point is, you ask, how can you don't? He doesn't know if she has a husband that she can call, whatever. I'm saying the difference between men and women is a man understands that all of our actions, we take our life into our hands. Whatever that conclusion is, whatever happens, we have to see it and follow it through wherever it goes. So him understanding as a man, if he chooses to do that, then that's his right as a man. That's all I'm saying.
That's also why we have a high murder rate in our community.
Wow.
Because we have that kind of ignorant thinking.
That is kind of
That is why. It's like, okay,
that's
I
so
know it's possible I can get killed, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway because I'm a man.
That's so predictable
ridiculous.
to say. That's black. That's black.
That's nigga shit. That's why we have a high murder rate.
Hold on real quick.
Oh,
this
God.
conversation is going so good. I hate to do this, but we are going to close it out. So we're going to ask for final commentary. And if you can keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, please.
I appreciate y'all for letting me know.
Zach,
thank you. We appreciate you for coming up.
Zach, you're always a joy. I appreciate
you.
you.
Even though you have dissenting opinions, we appreciate you coming up.
And you know what's so crazy? It's some people that get that nerve, and I be like, I'm gonna, Zach, you for whatever reason you don't get that nerve. Like Lil Big Nate, I be
don't tell him that.
Scream.
Please don't tell him that. He's gonna go even worse.
Really?
He needs to get on your nerves. He gets on all of our nerves. You will hit a nerve. Okay, you hit that nerve. Don't tell him, man.
You don't get that nerve for me, and that's crazy because it's so.
And that's why they go even more crazy. If you say that to someone, oh yeah, you can insult me, but it doesn't bother me. That not make them want to go nutter.
Not with Zach. Zach doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Jack Spades, we haven't heard from you. Go ahead.
You know how it is. I'm here in spirit. Where's my baby girl at? Real Dana. She left already?
Yeah, Dana been out for a minute.
Bless her heart, because I would have her pissed off by now. But hey, these are my 3 points. Number one, women know when to project femininity. and they know when to flex and when it's time to convince a man to provide her what she wants or what she needs. So this is not to say that all women have the ability, but I think a hell of a lot of women have that ability, and they will turn it on and they will turn it off as needed. So if any women say I don't have it, I don't know what it is, let it be a situation where they need something. They will flick that switch and they will ride that sucker out until either the guy gets hip and bounces or he gives her what she wants. Second one, men will piss away all rational thought if he feels he has a feminine woman in his world. There's guys is get married is risky business, but let a man have a woman in his life that he feels is projecting femininity. That man will piss all risk away and make her his wife. Last one. When we had that pending federal closure was like a year ago or something like that. I have an associate. She works for the TSA here in Atlanta. She's a dyke. But when she thought she was going to lose her job and she was going to need a place to crash. Oh, which one?
The D word, bro.
She likes women. How's that? But she turned on that femininity real quick. At least for me. If that's not to say that there was another dude she flicked that bad boy on just so she could have at least a place to stay at if she was to lose her job. So even a woman of an alternative lifestyle, they have the ability to turn their femininity off, especially femininity that they believe will attract a man. And that's my spill.
Why, thank you so much, Jack Spade. Babe, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I don't have a whole heck of a lot. As far as the toxic femininity thing, it's wild to see how what people say they are versus how the behaviors that you can observe, like all around this space, man or woman. So I urge everybody to pay attention to that and make your own judgment. We'll talk after the show.
Yes, sir, baby. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Curlin. Miss J, what do you have?
I mean, basically, the best way to avoid toxic femininity or to avoid being the toxic feminine person is, again, just basically keeping your cool. And I think being polite and having manners overall. Now, if you're trying to get into it with somebody online, it's kind of cool because no one can shoot you. But in real life, you kind of need to slow your roll because, things can get crazy out there. So you don't want to have those kind of consequences that you can't just, hit that X button and walk away. So you might want to chill out a little bit and just, not always respond when your inner side wants to get out there. Just, don't be so ratchet because, stuff can get real. So you don't have to worry about protection so much if you're kind of, keep it nice, keep it polite, keep it pushing. Don't always respond to stuff. And then you're not going to be involved and be a toxic feminine person. And that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you so very much, Miss J. Of course, we have Chaos's crazy ass in the back, but I'm not going to let him up. So, Concrete, take us out.
Sorry, I was at the stove. Can you hear me, Danny?
Yes, honey.
My apologies. Well, this was a super dope show. The conversation was literally great from beginning to end. It was extremely interesting. I am extremely elated at the people who came up on the panel. Heard from some people that we have not heard from before. I don't think I'm familiar with Zach, but it was dope for the real Dana and Raw B to stop through. We had just a real dope panel. This was a good conversation. Thank you to everybody for the super chats, to everybody who is in the chat. I agree with what Miss J said. I do think that, we as Black women, sometimes we have the desire to switch into masculine energy at will when it's not necessarily needed. I do think that I understand the need to be assertive in certain situations because we don't live inside of a bubble. We are faced with dangerous situations where, smiling and showing your teeth, as some people would suggest, can basically can lead to your demise. So just be wise. I'm not telling anyone to be masculine and to be assertive with a male that you might end up getting your head knocked off. And we know that a lot of Black men are saying that they're not going to step in and protect Black women. Just be wise with how you move, and try to be in your feminine energy as much as possible. I think that's all I have to say on the topic. Again, thanks to everybody who participated on the panel, everybody in the chat, and everybody who super chatted.
All right. Well, shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to the dope ass panel that we had. Shout out to our people in the chat. You guys always keep me laughing. I love y'all. Shout out to everybody who sent a super chat or a cash app. We will be back next week. This was a really good show. As far as the topic, ladies, if we have opportunities to where we can be our best selves and we have that opportunity, let's try not to ruin it when we're given those opportunities to be our best selves, because I think we did have that opportunity and it was torn down and I hated that. As far as the fellas are concerned, to be honest with you guys, I feel like things are starting to improve with the men and the women, but that's just from what I'm seeing. And I could be wrong, but I feel like things are improving. And hopefully they'll continue to get better. Everybody, thank you so much for coming through, and please pull up to Mr. Fantastic stream. Jerome has dropped Mr. Fantastic's link in the chat. So y'all be sure to go over there. We'll be back on Wednesday with another dope ass show. Y'all stay tuned. We're out.